Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. I'm just a question asker. But the person that is important, this is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Today is the day we've been talking about, Leonard.
Yes, sir.
Today is the day. Talk to them, little. Tell them, get them out there, man. Get them up out that bed. Tell them they ain't got time to play them games all day long. They got to go out there and let their voice be heard. Let their voice be heard. And then what is today? Today is the voting. Today is the primary, the voting day, whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it, but I know you got to get out there and vote. Talk to them, Leonard. Tell them what they got to do.
Man, it's your time to go and vote today.
Yes.
Go to the polls and let individuals know your point of view, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
you do it
Mm-hmm.
by voting.
Exactly.
The conversation on the couch don't count as much as the one in the poll at the
Mm-hmm.
poll.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
definitely go down there and vote your interest here in Georgia. I'm not sure. There are other states that also have key elections today, specifically Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Arkansas, things like that. Shout out to those people that have already early voted in their
Mm-hmm.
state.
Mm-hmm. I
Because one, this is what makes the difference:
mm-hmm.
the voting.
Yes.
Being
Yes.
mad don't make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Voting do.
That
Giving
talk.
up don't make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do something if you want to see some change,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how long it takes. As long as
Mm-hmm.
you're breathing, you should care about who running this government.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and for the ones that say, well, I was gonna vote, but I don't, man, go ahead on. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. Because my thing is this right here. If you're gonna sit there and you can complain, you complain, you can been complaining for 2, 3, 4 years. You've been complaining about everything that's going on or not going on or that you want to go on. Now you got a chance to make a change in what's happening, and you're gonna sit there talking about, man, my vote ain't gonna count no way. Ain't no need me going out there and vote. What I'm gonna vote for? You're gonna vote because you want to make a change. Knucklehead. I call him knucklehead,
Right.
Leonard. I call him knucklehead. I hit him
So
that
yeah,
time.
everybody know what we need to do now. Let's go be about that thing today.
Exactly. Make it happen. This is the day to do it. This is the day to do it. This is the day to let your voice be heard. Let your voice be heard.
Yeah,
Flex your muscles. Flex your
right.
muscles. You go ahead.
And we hope that people understand by now why it's important
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to vote. You should have been listening to things long enough. You should have been watching news long enough. You should have been watching people campaign to you
Mm-hmm.
enough
Or lie to
to know
you.
what's going on.
Or lie to you.
Yeah, you really need to know what's going on this election.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got certain people, excuse me, up for Secretary of State. That's very important. That's how most of your business and commerce is ran in your state. So make sure that when you vote, that you're voting for a person that's looking out for everyone's point of view and trying to
Mm-hmm.
do things for the best for all of the citizens. That's the
Everybody.
best way to make an informed choice.
Mm-hmm. Leonard, I never get on here and ask anybody who they're voting for. I let them, if they decided that they want to say who they're voting for, they can, but I don't ask them who, because I don't tell them who I'm voting for,
Mm-hmm.
except in a roundabout way, of course. But
Right.
man, you got. What are your thoughts? I'm actually just like, what are your thoughts about Herschel Walker politically?
But I can't hear you. Go ahead, Ray.
What are your thoughts about Herschel Walker politically?
I don't have any.
Okay.
I don't have any. He's a token.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I don't have no concern for him, and he don't have no concern for the people of this state.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm.
I don't care what color his face is.
Yeah. And see, and that's my whole thing. It doesn't matter. what color he is. He could be polka dot with purple stripes on it. It doesn't matter. Or he the right one for the people? Is he gonna do the right thing for the people? And I see a few of his commercials. I look at them when they come on, and truth of the matter, I shake my head, man. I shake my head.
Mm-hmm.
I say, Lord Jesus, help him, because Lord, no, he don't know what he's doing. He's being used and manipulated in a way that he don't even understand.
Well, that is the purpose of that's the why you say the word token.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's because he was chosen not because of a program for people, something he desired to see for this state, a desire that he had.
Mm-hmm.
He was chosen because he was black.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was chosen by white folks that could care less about what he had to say.
Mm-hmm.
He does as he's told by his white hammer.
Mm-hmm. Wow. But you know the saddest part about that, then a lot of people are actually going they're gonna vote for him, man. A lot of people go actually.
Well, they have a right to vote. They have a right to vote for him.
Yeah.
If they support him,
mm-hmm.
if he ignorant, they ignorant, they're gonna go together.
Mm.
It's not about knowing what you do. It's not about knowing anything when it comes to that selection. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They needed a black face that they chose to support on the ticket,
mm-hmm.
so they chose a famous football player.
Yeah.
And he said, "Okay, I'll take the money."
Mm-hmm.
He could care less about the position and what needs to be done.
Did he campaign at all?
Well, I mean, he did campaign,
mm-hmm.
but it was just a shambles. Like I said, if you still can walk in and vote for Herschel Walker, you don't give a damn about nothing or nobody.
Wow. Just tell him how you really feel. Tell him how you really feel.
I mean, what did he say that struck you as amazing?
Nothing.
Or that was worth voting for?
Nothing.
I didn't think so.
Mm-hmm. One time I was
if somebody could call in and mention it, I mean, I'm sure, there are people that will want to know, but I didn't hear anything.
I know at one point, one of his quotes said something about, man, I'm gonna make sure you put some rice and some corn on your table. I said, huh?
What?
Yeah. I saw that commercial this morning when I was. It came in and he said, I'm gonna make sure you put some rice and corn on your table.
Mm-hmm.
Biggie said, make sure. Biggie said, make now there's some steak with the beans and rice. But hey. That's just Biggie talking, you know what I mean? Biggie said that. And now there's some steak with the beans and rice. He want to put you some rice and corn on your table.
Just BS.
Bless his little heart.
Just BS to fill time.
Yeah.
And space.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that's worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
But call in if you vote wrong.
Yeah.
Let us know how great he is. Extol on his background and his how he's instilled faith in you, that he has what it takes to govern in Georgia.
How can he move the crowd? First of all, ain't no mistakes allowed. Oh, did I go there? Excuse me. Excuse me.
It would have been a lot more interesting if he had that much talent.
Exactly. But my thing is, man, and yes, absolutely. If you're voting for him, if you think that he's the candidate that's going to move Georgia to a better place, maybe you got your points. Give us a call, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. What is Herschel Walker? What has he said to you? What has he done to make you think or make you believe that he is the guy for the job? Yeah, the guy for the job. I'm gonna say a good candidate to do it. We got Charles. Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning? Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, what's going on, Chief?
Well, today is the election day. The day is the day that you have to go out there, and most people that has not done the early voting, I encourage each and every one of you to go out there and vote today. I want to see everybody with them little stickers on their chest where I voted. Get you, and don't go out there find out on the ground and put it on your shirt and say, "Look, y'all, I voted." Now you're playing. Now you're playing.
Just go get the shirt and put a sticker on it.
Exactly. But Charles, we right now we're talking about Herschel Walker, and what he has done or what make him a viable candidate to run for office. Help us understand, Charles. What has Herschel done? What has Herschel said to you?
I don't, he had a few good organizations and stuff like that, but as for a politician, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he had some problems back in Dallas that time with his, I think it was estranged wife or something like that, but had some mental issues going on. I think that was like 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah. Will that come up? You think that'll come up?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Anytime you do anything bad, I don't care if it was like 2 days after you were born, they're going to bring that up. You know what I'm saying? You spit on the doctor. Oh, Lord. Everything will come up.
That wasn't spit. That was drool. That was drool. That wasn't spit. That was drool. There's a difference.
Yeah, it looked like spit to me.
Wow.
Yeah, but as for politics-wise, he's not a politician. So you don't have any kind of political background to go by, which to me is a plus. What he stands for, I guess those are the main things that people attract him. And then he's I think he is backed by Donald Trump.
Yes, he is.
So that's another thing that backs him up. Him and Donald Trump been friends since the New Jersey. Was it New Jersey Generals or something like that?
Oh yeah. New Jersey Generals, USFL. Yeah.
USFL.
Yeah.
USFL. He made a lot of people. Donald made a lot of football players a lot of money back then. So they've been friends since then. And then everything I've seen about Herschel Walker, honestly, has been just in the sports world. As bobsledder, MMA fighter, this or that. Everything's been sports world to me.
Yeah.
For him. He has, but he has had like organizations to help kids. And those are the main. But that's what I was gonna say. That's what sports people should do, but they don't have to do. I think sports people, that's one of their main things. That they were helping kids, so they help kids, and that's what he's to me. He's been that not typical, but he's been a great sports person. As a kid, using his platform for sports to get kids. Kids.
Let me ask you a question. Charles, let me ask you a question, Charles. Do you think Leonard, and we got another caller. We're gonna go to the call in just 1 second.
He running against Warnock, right?
Yes.
I think he'll be Warnock.
You think he will?
He should. I mean, I wouldn't vote for Warnock.
Leonard used the verbiage token. Do you think he's a token?
No, because the thing about when you say token, and when people use that word as a token, if that's the case, everybody's a token because we're the minority. You understand? We're the minority all the way around. But if that's the case, we all are tokens. And it's weird that when we use that word token, and we can't look at it at our candidate as a token. You understand? So if we back somebody, they're a token also. So you look at Warnock or Abrams or anything like that, they're in the field. We're all mostly white men. So they're backed by white men. So are their tokens also? You get what I'm saying? So I don't like using that word when somebody has put forth an effort to do something. Just because you're black, or you could be a Spanish token or anything. But the majority, we're not the majority in the United States. So whatever we do, we're not the majority. So if we put our foot forward on anything, we're always called the token by other black people. And that's weird.
Let me ask you this.
This black dude is doing something. He's got to be a token. But that's white. Let me ask you this question. Talk though. That's white racism.
Charles, let me ask you this question right here. Oh wow, it's so much tied into that, man. But you say everybody's a token. But what do you say? What do you say to the organization? I've heard a lot of organizations, white folks, actually say our Caucasian brothers and sisters. They say that they have to do certain things because the numbers are diminishing. and they are fast moving toward becoming a minority in America. Do you believe that?
White organizations that are saying that they
Well,
need to do something to.
I heard white organizations say that the numbers are diminishing, that they're losing their numbers, and if they're not careful, they're gonna become a minority here in the United States.
I've never heard a white organization say that, but I've heard people say that white organizations say that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I've never heard a white organization say that, but I've heard that people. That's a conversation that people are having about white organizations. You get what I'm saying? So I personally never heard it, and most people that I've talked to never heard them say it, but we've heard people say that they said that.
I'm gonna pull up a clip or two because I got a couple of clips I can play for you where they're actually.
But is it the white organization, or is it somebody speaking for the white organization?
Well, I'm not a part of the white organization. I don't know. You know, that's a very trick
question.
That's a very trick question.
No, it's not a trick question. It's a good question, because if it's not, like, let's say for instance, if it's
so how are we to determine not being a part of the organization to know whether they're a part of the organization or they're speaking for the organization, or how do we determine that? We can't.
Exactly. Okay?
So
you can't. A lot of times you can't.
How
so things are put out there.
Hold on, Charles. Let me do this. Right. Let me go. We got another caller. Okay. Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
How y'all doing this morning, DKM Radio Morning Glow?
Hey, doing good. Doing
audience and panel.
Yes, sir. Doing good. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. We're talking about.
Can I just say this right fast? I heard you. Can I just say this right fast?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Go ahead.
My name Herschel. I like football. I'm gonna run over. My name Herschel Walker. I'm gonna walk over the Warnock. I'm gonna run him over. You see this? This is trophy. I got trophy because I like football. My name Herschel.
Wow. Wow. That's kind of hurtful. Go ahead. What do you think? What do you think about is he a token?
Did they put up any other black candidate before? Have the Republican Party in the state of Georgia put up another black male candidate to run for that seat before Herschel?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Not that I know of. It may have been one minor or two. I doubt it. Okay. And so since Warnock is in, that's their counter for Warnock. Please, you should have picked Charles. Y'all bought him a house in Georgia and got him registered, and he'd have stood a better chance than Herschel.
So Warnock is gonna win this thing.
I don't see how Herschel's gonna beat him. Please. Herschel Walker is not anybody that should be an elected official.
Wow.
He might be an excellent coach, conditioner, trainer for something in sports. That's his bet. That's what he does. But legislating, man, please. Unless they're getting ready to fund sport programs, what else is he gonna do? This dude can't even pronounce critical race theory letters right. It's critical C, race R, theory T. He says CTR.
Wow.
Come on, man. You done had just a few too many tackles. Your head done hit the ass with the AstroTurf a few too many times.
Wow.
No kind of way qualified to be an elected official. And I'm not all that impressed with Warnock. He's doing some things, but I'm not necessarily waving his banner either. But I'm just saying, Herschel Walker, my name is Herschel. I like football. That's what you're going to get.
Leonard?
I mean, it's pretty much, Pete's opinion is pretty much true. I mean, I wish I could refute what he was saying, but I can't. I said it in the beginning. He's not a serious political candidate. He showed you exactly what you would get if you wasted your vote this way.
Wow.
The Republicans could have put up anybody better than that, but they chose not to. And I'm sure they chose it because he's a black football player. That's the meaning of token.
We like our football players in Georgia, Leonard. Leonard, you know we like our football players. Them boys come out South Georgia. out that farm field eating them with the black eyed peas and greens. Them boys strong,
Right.
they fast. We like our football players in Georgia.
And it's so sad that a black man would allow himself to be used this way.
Does he know he's being used though, Leonard?
Yes, he always has been. He always has been. He might not be able to say CRT, but can he say CTE?
Wow.
Why would you do that? That is so disrespectful to the citizens of Georgia. Really, it is. This man is not a political individual. That's what makes him even more of a token. This is something he was told he was going to do. That's what makes him a token.
But Charles said everybody's a token. Charles said everybody. Leonard.
No, I said if he's a token, everybody's a token.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that you can be wrong. Don't worry about it.
Wow. Excuse me.
The weird part about it is that only because he's black and he's Republican, blacks don't back him. See, blacks are funny with the way we do things. We will back a white Democrat before we vote with a black Republican. We had somebody on here a while back saying that Dr. Ben Carson, you know, all the bad thing they were saying about Dr. Ben Carson. Then somebody had the audacity to say Dr. Ben Carson wasn't in the room during the surgeries, just because he's a black Republican now. Now, see how asinine that sound. This man with St. John's University, if we're speaking about the same people who always talk about white supremacy, the most whitest hospital out there, they're going to actually put a black man ahead of something just to make him look good. Just because, and the person got it from a comedian. A comedian said this, and they repeated it as it was gospel, because this dude is a black Republican. See, what we don't do as black people, we don't study, for one thing. Now, if you have an opinion about Herschel Walker and how he do things, that's cool and that's understood. And also Warnock, like you just said, Warnock really ain't nothing. He ain't nothing. He's a preacher. He ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? He ain't really nothing guided to me by God anyway. But we as blacks, we see things as everything. 90% of us vote Democrat. So we already, you know, we constantly keep doing the same thing and thinking we're going to get a different result. And we don't. And that's just it. We don't. But I've never voted as like at this level right here, I voted Democrat sometimes. But I've never went, as you go higher, I've never put my mind into voting for a Democrat because I've always sat down, wrote things out. I started at 18, writing things out, the pros and cons of the parties. And I've always come up to me, and I write things out. Now, you can ask 70% of people don't write things out like this politically.
Okay.
I've always come to that the Democrat Party's always been the worst of the worst.
Hey, y'all, let me ask you this question right here. I've heard a few people say that, as a matter of fact, I got another friend, he's a Republican as well, brother. And he said he won't vote Democratic at all. And he say the same thing, that, you know, black people always vote Democratic, but they're always looking for something different to happen. But what do you say to the black people that's Republican, that always vote Republican, that's also looking for something to happen, and nothing happened either way? What does that leave us? And Captain, come to you next.
As a majority, we never vote. We haven't voted as a majority. Only time we voted for a Republican as a majority was way back in the day. All right. So that's when you had more black businesses. You had Black Wall Street, which were Republicans, but people don't want to, they ain't going to admit it. You had all those type things. That's when we voted mostly. When we were growing more and things like that, that's when we voted as a conglomerate, as a group. You understand? Me growing up around Muslims and having to read and study Malcolm X, he had a lot of bad things to say about both parties. A lot. But he never conservatives the worst thing in the Western Hemisphere. He's never done that. And he had bad things to say about both parties, but he's never, no quotes, nowhere, no books, says that. He said liberals are the worst thing in the Western Hemisphere.
Now, Charles, you
for
say,
what reason?
Did I hear you say? Did I hear you say, Charles, that Black Wall Street was Republican?
Oh yeah, definitely. Go study.
Okay, well, I mean that's fine. I'm not going I'm not going to dispute
Oh,
that
yeah,
one
yeah,
way or
yeah,
another.
yeah.
I'm not gonna dispute
But that wasn't far fetched back then, because that's what we were, you know. And a lot of people gonna say, well, that's a different Republican Party.
Mhm.
And everything was different. That's different Democrats right now. Everything is different right now, but it still stood for, you know, more things that advance black people than, you know, handouts. You know, you don't. They say don't feed the bear, because if you constantly feed the bear,
Well, let me
the
ask
bear
you this
won't want to
question.
go out
Let me
and
ask you this question. I'm gotta go to Captain. I gotta go to Captain as well. But look,
eat. All right.
if that be the case, and I'm not going to dispute it one way or another. I'm not clear, so I'm not going to speak on it. I'm not going to talk about what I don't know. But if that be the case, the Black Wall Street was Republican, and majority of all of them people were Republican. What happened to Black Wall Street?
What do you mean? What happened to it?
Wasn't there a group of wicked? Wasn't there a group of wicked white people that destroyed it?
Well, it was exactly right. Yes,
it was rhetorical.
Yes.
That was rhetorical, brother. That was rhetorical.
No, it was. But you're right. But who were the wicked white people?
It doesn't matter.
The ones who, it does matter, because
Muhammad Ali
said.
Like
Muhammad Ali said.
Muhammad Ali said in that clip, if there's 10,000 snakes, and they want to kill me, am I going to sit here and embrace, or hoping that the 1,000 that want? You know, I'm not going to do that. There's 10,000.
So you gonna everybody, all white people bad, is what you saying?
I never said that.
So that's what you're saying.
The clip that I put out there.
The point. See, there's an independent party.
Mm-hmm.
So the party that was in action back with Tulsa,
ooh, please don't
Black
say
Wall
that.
Street, was the hooligan party, and the
No,
hooligan
brother,
party came in and burned it down and
Charles?
killed everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I got. Hold on, everybody. Leonard, hold on 1 sec. I gotta pull. Captain been holding on for a while. I gotta be respectful of his time as well. Hold on, brother. I'll come right back to you, Captain. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hey, peace to the gods. How y'all doing this morning, brothers?
Hey, doing good. We got a conversation going, brother. Jump in. What do you feel about this whole situation?
Well, I'm kind of trying to figure where you're going with it. I came in on the tail end, kind of fill me in on what led to this conversation.
What? How we got here? We're talking. The day is the election day, and you know, a lot of voting that's going on. And we started out talking about Herschel Walker. Rather, he was a good candidate to run for office against Warlock, which is our representative out of the state of Georgia. Charles seemed to think that he is. Leonard and Brother Pete think that he's not. They said that he's not even prepared. And Charles also said that he's really not a politician. I couldn't even say that word for nothing. He's not a politician. He's a sports guy. And because of that reason, maybe. But Charles also said that he should beat Warlock, because Warlock ain't too much either. And Pete said the same thing, that you know, Warlock isn't. He's not gonna hang his flag with Warlock, but he would do that against Herschel Walker. So what do you say about this? And they also said that Herschel Walker was pretty much a token, and Charles said that everybody's a token in some kind of way or another. So what do you think about that? And that's just a few of the nuggets that was out there.
Well, you know, I just kind of believe, dear brothers, that, you know, you have to understand the dynamics of politics. You have to define it,
mm-hmm.
because a Republican is a politician, mm-hmm. and a Democrat is a politician,
mm-hmm.
and they work in a system that we didn't have nothing to do in creating. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, what we have to be very conscious of, what is a politician? Mm-hmm. A politician is one who has the power to influence. That's mm-hmm. the whole key to it. We take and get people and vote for them because we believe they can influence somebody. You don't put nobody in office if you don't think they can influence policies, mm-hmm. influence people. I mean, that's stupid. Now, if Herschel Walker is being voted in, somebody believes mm-hmm. that celebrity status has the power to influence. Well, the question is, who? Who mm-hmm. is he going to influence? Mm-hmm. Because whoever he's going to influence, them the ones who's going to vote for. Will I vote for him? Will Charles vote for him? No. When you talk about, you have the opportunity who you going to pick, whether it's going to be Lucifer or Beelzebub. You know mm-hmm. what I'm saying? The lesser one evil. Mm-hmm. Either way you're going to pick, you're going to hell, determine how fast you're going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand we ain't gained nothing under nobody.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
What was freed under the Republicans. We can't ignore that. The Democrats didn't free black people. And you have to understand the mindset of the Republicans. Their attitude has always been having the power to influence, to be able to see a people pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They are not down with handouts. They're not down with always making an excuse and let the system get you along. They're about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. And that's always been, to me, this is my attitude. That's always been the conservatives' attitude, is to be able to get people to do something for themselves. I think the Democrats have done a hell of a job in making black folks very complacent and very dependent on the system versus, man, go on and stop making excuses. People could come in America, can't even speak no English, and they can advance. But you know what? Most of them don't join the Democratic Party. Look at every one of these people every one of these other nationalities. They don't sway with the Democrats. They always sway with the Republicans. So what we realize is, I'm not one to believe you're going to get free with the Republicans, you're going to get free with I do believe that we have to go to a third party system. Yes. Because we're not gaining nothing under neither one. I think we have to develop our own system that works best for us. And I like what Charles said, and it's clear that we do not stay with the people we put in office. We have put them in office, man, but we don't hold them accountable. And look at our condition, man. I mean, listen, they told us once upon a time, well, you know what you people's problem is? You don't have no black representation. Now we got more black mayors than we ever had. They told us we don't have, we need more black people in the politics. We got more people in city council. We got more black police chief. We got more black female police chief. Look at our condition. Our condition have not worn the advancement we made in the political system. So we got to begin to stop trying to say, well, you got to do something. Well, when we mentioned it, he mentioned Malcolm. And I like Brother Leonard, I think we touched on this. See, when Malcolm used the term ballot or the bullet, many people didn't understand what he was saying. What Malcolm was saying, both of them would bring about a change. Change could come through revolution, the bullet, or change could come through the ballot, voting. But what he was saying, this old saying, and you preachers like this. One time, the messenger told a story about this preacher, and he took out his Bible and he put it up on the pulpit, and he took out a .45 gun, he put a knife beside it. And he said, the subject today is one of these two going to move you. Now that seemed to be the attitude. One of these going to move you, ballot or the bullet. So I think right now we have to really look at what have we gained. Remember we had the black Governor Wilder? Yeah. Remember Wilder? Yeah. We had the first black Dinkins was the first mayor, a black mayor in New York. What we have to gain. Obama was the first black president. What have we gained? The question is, we can get black people, but if you put black people into a white system and they don't have a knowledge of themselves, then they become part of that system. So that's what you got. You just got chocolate covered white folk. That's what you got.
Wow. Leonard, you wanted to say something?
Well, I mean, also people have to understand a lot of it is personal opinion. Now, we not gonna do nothing, but thousands of African Americans have. Several thousands. There's more black wealth now, I believe, in the United States than ever before, and they're doing things that they want to do. They're living where they want to live, coming and going as they please, traveling, enjoying life, raising their children to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, everything else. So, one, we have to consider people's perspectives and points of view. I don't have a way that I want you to live. I live how I desire to live. So as long as we measure our success by those who have not made it, I guess we'll never win, will we? But if that's how your stories are going to end, God bless you.
What are the pros in voting for Herschel?
I don't know, because I would never vote for him or anyone like him for that matter.
You have two black males running for the same seat, and some think that he was put there just to take the seat back or to get control of that seat. Pete, do you find that to be factual? Is like I asked you earlier, is he a placement? Oh, hold on. I got Pete on mute because he has a background noise. Sorry about that, Pete. Go ahead, brother.
It should be obvious. Yes, that's exactly what it is. They simply picked Herschel to counter Warnock, melanated man for melanated man, in hopes that his football background would pull those that are energized with the college and the sports arena here in the state of Georgia, stick him up under the Republican banner, and hopefully he would be able to pull enough with the backing of Trump to be able to unseat Warnock. That's just obvious. It's not like he's coming in with any concepts of legislating or interpretation knowledge of the legislative process, and he has all these initiatives that he wants to, present and push and bring forth and gather support for to get approved. We've heard nothing from Herschel along those lines, so it should be obvious that that's what that is.
Okay.
But like my dear brother was saying, and let's clarify, the brother Charles didn't automatically say that everybody. He said if that's the case, everybody was.
Yeah.
But in too often cases, that's what we have, a bunch of clowns. I have termed the term supported it, cockroach Negro leadership. We have too many and too much cockroach Negro leadership in politics today. Like my dear brother said, we overwhelmed with their presence in the system, but what is the overall progress that we're getting back from black Republicans or Democrats, right? Here in the state of Georgia, the Democrats are the minority. But as a whole, the Democratic body here, they do not want to go across the table and negotiate and go back and forth with the Republican majority to get stuff done. That's a problem. Why are you there? You're there to legislate. Now, they might not approve it. They have the majority numbers. They might not go with every single thing that you present, but that's the legislative process. We go back and forth. We get some concessions. We get some things. Georgia wants to pass a bill, I believe they did, that if someone is proven to be wrongfully convicted, I believe it was Representative Scott who proposed that they are entitled to $100,000 a year for every year they were incarcerated. But if they have minor charges, that would discredit them from being able to get the money. Now, right away, when I heard that, I said, okay, well, that's a start. But now, if you found a whole conviction to be wrongful, whether they have minor charges or not, the whole conviction is thrown out. So the minor charges would be irrelevant, right? And on top of that, why did we not add in that the perpetrators of the wrongful conviction should automatically receive the minimum sentencing of the maximum sentence they rendered to the wrongful convicted? That would be the end of wrongful conviction upon approval of that bill.
Wow, that's good. That's
so
good.
It's knowing how to go in and legislate, but us being over too deeply involved with party affiliation, to me, is asinine. For real, it's just ridiculous.
Absolutely.
If they're not going to do our bidding, then why are we voting for them? And once you cast your ballot, it doesn't end there. You have to stay engaged with that elected representative. They're not there to do their bidding. They're elected to do their constituents' bidding. But if the constituents are not following up with the elected representative, then they're going to do what they want to do or what the party line tells them to do.
Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Got a call. I'm going to go to Charles. I'm going to go to my caller. Caller, hold on. Coming to you next. Charles, you had your finger up, brother. What's on your heart? I think as soon as I go to Charles, he done froze on me. Yep, I think he done froze. Must be in a bad spot. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Welcome to a new day, fellas.
Hey, welcome to you as well, brother. I know you've been listening in, man. What's on your heart right now?
Oh man, I'm just listening, man. You know, Pete hit a grand slam just then, man. He knocked it in the head. I agree with him. I can't believe, and it appalls me. It astonishes me to see that we get so unconditionally caught up and loyal to this party game and start using their talking points and trying to manipulate our point of view at the same time omitting certain facts. You know, I heard what Charles said, man, and I agree with Charles 95% of the time till he started this political bipartisan stuff, this Democrat and Republican thing. And he asked you a question about, well, who burned down Tulsa? Just so you can put it in the atmosphere that it was bad white Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
He wants you to put that in the atmosphere so bad, but he ain't gonna put it in the atmosphere that they left the Democratic Party and went to the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's sometimes how people use the truth to just get their point across, but then they'll omit the rest of the truth.
Manipulate.
Just to condone or justify their, what Pete just said, their asinine position.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We're really and truly, we know that they both play their game. Mm-hmm. So now, this is the thing it is everything that we're dealing with, whether it's medicine, politics, economics, real estate, all that, it's still psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about psychology. It's just that sometimes it isn't overt or you don't see the consequences in the end. But they find a formula and see that it works. And then they continue to use that formula because they see how it affects people's vision of thinking. So I think about being the image and the vision and the people being idols and fans. And they saw this thing work with Trump. Came out of nowhere. No kind of political resume. No type of character and integrity or honor about himself. Just a reputation for being affiliated with money. When you thought about Donald Trump, you thought about money and divorces and women, but that lifestyle of the rich and famous, it worked. So now they say, well, you know what? We know these black people, they some of the most distracted people on the planet. They can't stick to their priorities for nothing, man. They vote and then just leave it alone. Like Pete said, they don't stay involved. They don't stay engaged. They'll vote and they expect you to just read their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So they know that we're not engaged, and at the same time, they know human beings fall for celebrities and fame. They're followers for the most part. So they put Herschel Walker out there to go against the other black man. Because he knows it's a lot of black people out there right now that's saying, I wouldn't mind Trump being back in office. At least he gave us some stimulus checks.
Mm-hmm.
He gave us some money. I remember when Bush was in office and he gave everybody that little $500.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was cool now. He good. And so, you know, really truly that's another science that happens to us mentally. When they come into our presence, we feel like the standard is acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
When they accept what we do, then we feel like it's acceptable. But then at the same time, we take somebody like a celebrity and make whatever they do or whatever they say, somebody that's rich, whatever they do or whatever they say, it must be right. We could trust them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm looking at how everybody's going for, well, I ain't gonna even say everybody is, you know, supporting Herschel Walker, but just the fact that they feel like he even can have a chance. They already know that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to look at his celebrity and they're going to think about the University of Georgia and they're going to think about them touchdowns and they're going to think about him diving over the top and they're going to think about Trump, Republicans, and stimulus checks. And that's all it's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
they know that Herschel Walker is not fit. He's not qualified to be a politician. The man's been beating his wife. He got these psychological problems where he's been going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And man, it's been long that he blacked out. I mean, he done did all these interviews, and now all of a sudden, with these extreme mental issues that he has, probably along with a little CTE, they want to put him in that top seat.
Wow. Let me 508-924-3521 508-924-3521. Got a few callers here to go to the
Let me come
call.
back.
Charles, I came to you, Charles, but you was
I
frozen.
know.
What's up?
I heard you. I heard you, but I couldn't say
Okay.
anything.
Mhm.
And you're right. I was in a bad area. Appreciate that. But
Yes,
when people come in here and try to speak for me and
Mhm.
try to tell me what I wanted, you're wrong. Because you're not in my head. You can't tell me. You can assume, and we all
Mhm.
know what an assumption makes, right?
Mhm.
So don't try to speak for me and tell me what I'm trying to do. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I move in different ways than most black people do because I think different. You know, I'm not like
Let me
the
do this, Charles.
90%.
Let me do that. I'm gonna let you say everything you want to say. I'm gonna get your point out and everything. But are we speaking about anybody specific? Or I want to go to that
He
person.
just said it. I just got off. I just got off the line. Rico just said it. He said what I wanted to say about this and that and the other. I didn't say. If I didn't say it, then it wasn't said. You get what I'm saying? If I don't beat around the bush. Matter of fact, I wasn't even thinking that. But what he said was quite obvious. But I wasn't thinking that. But it's quite obvious. And on top of that, Captain was correct. People are put in positions for to get votes, meaning that it was a brother on your show before who was getting ready to run against Warnock, a brother, a black a police that came on here as a libertarian. He just said he wasn't ready, but it wasn't that white folks asked him to do it. He saw the need and said, I want to do it. Now, as for Herschel Walker, we don't know here nor there. We all assuming these things, and most of us, hey, we could be right. But the thing about who he's running against, the person he's running against, what has he done? You understand? And then going back to Black Wall Street, the Gurley family were Republicans. So whether or not the people who destroyed Black Wall Street were Democrats and then changed to Republicans, it was still built by Republicans. You get what I'm saying? No matter what the opposition was who helped destroy it, who helped build it were Republicans. You get what I'm saying? That's just a fact. You can't change that. And no matter who destroyed it, it's still destroying it. Godzilla could have destroyed it, but it was still Republicans who made it.
Again, my point is, and when I made that point about that, I'm talking again, like Muhammad Ali said, with the 10,000 snakes. That was my whole point. So
I don't.
hold on.
I like Ali, but I don't agree with everything he said.
Okay, we're not saying that you have to. But my thing, I got a lot of people. Let's keep everything 3 minutes in our 3 minute window because we got a lot of people that's called in. The phone lines are blowing up this morning. Evidently, people love this topic, and I'm glad that they do. So everybody, let's keep our comments within that 3 minute window so I can move on and keep this thing going. Rico, he just said something. He addressed you. Do you want to come back or rebut what he just said, or do you want to just move on?
I mean, the only rebuttal, like it's an echo, real bad echo.
Go ahead, Rico.
The only rebuttal I could give is what was said was said. He brought up the fact that the Democrats, would have wanted to burn it down. Now he just came back and said that the Republicans.
I did not say the Democrats burned that down.
Charles, hold on.
That makes no matter either, because the same Democrats that burned it down went to the Republican Party that built it, and now that is not the same Republican Party. If that was the same Republican Party, then we would still be unconditionally loyal to it, like we are the Democrats. But somehow we jumped ship, just like the Dixiecrats jumped ship and went to the Republicans. So the reason why I brought that up, because that information is unnecessary. Whether the Republicans built it or the Democrats burnt it down is all political propaganda and talking points. That's my point.
Okay.
So I mean, that was the only response I could give to what he said about that.
Good deal. Let me go. We got quite a few people on the phone lines. Everybody be patient. I'm gonna make my circle around. I promise I'm gonna get to each and every one of you. Next one on the phone line was Toussaint. Toussaint, good morning. How you doing this morning? Come on, man. I know you've been listening. I know it.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You know what I like?
What's that?
I like the fact that between social media and our political arena always have us in the uproar.
Mm-hmm.
while they make the decisions and the money,
Wow.
and we vote them in and out based on who we believe they support. I hope I'm saying this right. I'm trying to say it best I possibly can. And they flip flop all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that, there are some that they may be Democrat one day, and based on how they watch, or they kind of look at the community and what they want out of the community, because they don't serve, they want to be served. So what I believe they do is they watch how we work, and they say, "Oh, okay, I'll just change parties, and then they'll love me."
Wow.
I'm
Manipulation.
just saying.
Manipulation.
I'm just saying. I'm not too bright, but all politicians, not all. Let me take that back. For the most part, politicians are the best liars in the world. They're like lawyers, and what they do is just like prosecutors and defenders. Some of them, they're in a group together, and they fuss and fight in the courtroom, but they go out and eat together while we raise hell. That's amazing. That's why I stay out of politics.
So they're the instigators.
That's why.
So they're the instigators.
Yeah, that's all they do. Yeah, they just want you, because see, what we do is just like, for instance, you ever heard Herschel Walker talk?
Yeah, unfortunately.
He need to stick to running the ball.
I'm
just saying.
Wow.
And then here's another thing, and I'm gonna shut up. I promise my 3 minutes is up. They put a celebrity in front of us, to the one that we think we like, and they call themselves speaking for us. And they don't speak for me. They don't speak for me. How in the world you gonna have Don King speak for anybody? That's just one. I'll shut up.
Wow.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning,
Good
everybody.
morning. Curtis, you're next on in line, Curtis. What's on your heart, brother? Good morning to you. How you doing this morning?
What's on my heart about what, man? You know what I mean? To my heart about what? The ignorance I just heard come through this phone.
Now, what ignorance are we speaking of? What ignorance are we speaking of?
Rico's dead on point, man. You know, it's funny how it always amazes me how certain folk like to talk about the party that was, and they represent it as if it's the party that is, and it's not. It's not.
Because when you say certain folks, are you speaking of Charles?
Listen, I ain't got to hold my tongue. He knows who I'm talking to. I ain't got to call his name.
Okay. I just like I said, I'm going in a different direction. I'm making it real clear for all my listeners, just in case, because they don't know everybody. So I want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what we're talking about. Then I'll go back and let that person actually be able to speak about what is just said, just to keep everything in fair and just. But go ahead, brother.
Oh, okay. So Charles, quit coming on the show and putting out this felonious information that's misleading the people and misguiding the people, man. Stop it. Stop it, because you're a Republican. Sometimes, brother, as smart as you are and as brilliant as you are in the things that God has brought you through, sometimes, brother, you got to put you before the party. You lead with the party first. And the party has a platform that is not only outdated, but it is extremely hypocritical. I'll give you a case in point, then I'm going to shut up. Please explain to these listeners that's on this phone
You got 1
the
minute, Curtis.
moral value, and you saying, or your party, since you represent them all the time, your party saying, oh, we want to stop abortion. But then turn right around and vote so that the kids can't get no milk. Explain that. Don't give me all this. Don't give me this historical data that honestly is coming out of your mouth one-sided.
30 seconds, Curtis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 30 seconds. Yeah, the Republican Party was full of black folk at one time. That's when they were abolitionists. But when folks switched parties, like one of the folks that me and Raheem know, named Strom Thurmond, he was welcomed open arms into the Republican Party, him and 5 others. They all were Klan members.
Wow.
But you don't tell nobody that, though.
Okay. Let's go. That's your time there, Curtis. We're going to go to Charles. Charles, you got 3 minutes, brother.
All right, cool. Appreciate you. All that Strom Thurmond stuff, yeah, yada, yada, yada. Senator Byrd was a Democrat for how long, and they still praised him up until the day he died, and he was the Grand Master of the Ku Klux Klan, but we're not going to go over that. We're going to talk about gun. We're going to want everybody to have a gun. This is what Republicans stand for. Now, I don't stand for, and as for your question, I don't know, because I don't agree with 100% of nothing that people do. You get what I'm saying? That's the difference between a black conservative and a black liberal. You all agree to me.
When you say you all, who exactly are you talking? Are you talking about anybody in particular?
Yes, to me. This is my opinion. To me, black liberals will vote in the devil if the white liberal tell them to. All right. So we're looking at, that's to me. Like when we're looking at school choices, all right, that's what stuff I agree with. Everybody having the ability to get a handgun or to get a weapon to protect themselves. That's what I agree with. Less although this ain't really that much anymore that it used to be, less government. That's the stuff I agree with. And as for people, when you're talking about stimulus checks and things like that, at the time it was needed. But you look at right now, and these are the things that are gonna make people vote certain ways. When you're looking at the gas prices, when you're looking at the prices of food right now, those are really important things. How people live right now are really important things. As for me, how I vote, I just always study on for me. You understand? I'm not an ant, and I'm not in an ant farm. So I vote for me and my family. You understand how we do things, and I understand that we need more black businesses. We need black manufacturers, things like that. I know that those are the things that we need. So that's how I vote. And as for putting out false information, brother, you the one who said that Dr. Carson wasn't in the room, and you got that from a comedian who, in fact, the same comedian that Malcolm X said we shouldn't even listen to. People like him. So these are facts that I'm popping out now, okay? So I'm not going by, now when I say this opinion, I'm gonna say this is my opinion. But if I'm telling you it's a fact, it's a fact. Jack.
30 seconds. You done?
I'm out.
Okay, good deal, good deal.
I'm listening in though, I'm listening.
Okay, good deal. Toya with a T, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. I know you've been listening for a minute. Since you got 3 minutes, what's on your heart?
I mean, I've been listening, but I really don't know what the question is. I just been hearing people say things back and forth. So what's the question? Okay, I'm gonna stop your 3 minutes. So I'm gonna start it back up. So when you get, I started talking. But my thing is, we're talking about this morning. We started out talking about Herschel Walker. You know, today is the day to vote. Talking about Herschel Walker, right. Rather he is a viable opponent for Warlock. Is he just a quote unquote a dumb jock that people just trying to use and manipulate him to put a wedge in between what Warlock is trying to do and put another face that looks just like Warlock to pull votes away from that and get Herschel Walker in so they could just get that particular seat back. Do you think Herschel Walker is actually prepared to take over that seat that Warlock, or even do you think Warlock is doing a good job? What's in your heart about this? No, Warlock ain't did nothing. Have you seen him or John since they got voted in?
No, a front. So, our businesses, have plans to recruit people, plans to attract people. And of course, we know in politics, this is what they do. It's another type of business. It's the type of marketing, the type of branding that they do. So, of course, in order for them to be able to attract Black people, they're going to use Black figures, just like anybody else, commercials, movies, sports, all of that. So the first thing I don't think is fair is to differentiate people just because they're politicians when you got so many different mixes of things that got Black people that doesn't represent true Black values that people are into. But we're just going to talk about the politicians. I don't think that's right. Let's call out a rapper that is helping to influence some of the issues that a so-called Black politician that we don't agree with is talking about. Let's talk about the points and not the people. But this is what they do. This is what they always done. I know we're not surprised by that. That's what they better do if they want Black votes. So it is what it is. Now, if computer button 3 of 20 computer. So if we don't have the right or the proper Black representation when it comes to voting, what are we supposed to do? I mean, it still has to go on. You know what? It keeps baffling me because we keep saying it's politics, and it's not politics, it's the people in politics. And out of the 700 million people that is here, if those are the only people that's running, it's like, what do we have? So if we've got a Black Republican, then that's all that's out there to run. There's nothing we can do about that except for stand up. And at the end of the day, we have to take our power back, America.
1 minute.
I understand that we hire individual people to be able to operate our government system. But initially, it's up to the 625,000 people in that state or city to really help motivate them and influence them on what we need done. So instead of us thinking about the people so hard, we're going to put in office, let's think about how we're going to work the snots out of them when they get there, regardless of the color and regardless of the party. The American people need justice, and it doesn't matter who goes in office.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. Captain Leonard, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
I'm listening to people's opinions and things like that nature, but on the business end of things, I don't care for the way some people run their campaigns, but I will still vote and support them because it's more than about what they said for these past 2 or 3 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So if you don't know what people are doing, don't claim they're not doing anything.
Look at the record. Look at the track record.
At the end of the day, I would still support guys like Warnock because he's a good man. And the work that he's done in the community and what he's provided for just this community before he was even elected, just as a pastor of a church, the things that he was doing. He pretty much is doing the same thing now at another level. So to argue about 2 or 3 days or what have you, to me is useless. 98% of my issues have nothing to do with race. 98% of them. So people have to look at that. What is actually going on is in exchange for what you think may be going on, or your conspiracy theories, or whatever. Challenge the people running. Don't challenge everybody else. Challenge the people running. So go find out what it is you want to know. Half the people that talk about what they want, once you ask them, they ain't got a clue. And they sit there and they stare at you in your face like you speaking another language. Sit somebody down acting a fool, shouting and cussing, and ask them what the problem is.
Wow.
If you can't talk about what the issues actually are, you're just making stuff up and hoping it sticks.
Yeah. 1 minute, Leonard.
So look at their work.
That's good. That's good.
But Herschel doesn't have it.
Wow. We have another caller from
he has a charity like most rich people do, but
Absolutely. Okay, let me go. We got another caller from the 256 area code. 256 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? 256 area code. You there? Okay. Captain, talk to me, sir.
Well, you know, I was sitting back and I remember the minister said, you put books on an ass. That don't make that donkey smart. So, you know, when you talk about brother, you know, you can give him title, you can give him position, but that don't make him qualified.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be very clear that I was listening to a discussion from some Asians talk show. And did you know not one time on that Asian talk show similar to this, that Asians talk about the shortcomings of Asians? Asians talked about everybody else and what role they played in either furthering their cause or standing in the way of their cause. But they didn't say, you know, we Asians, we always ain't doing this. That's the problem with us Asians. We don't do this. And I'm telling you, that's I never one time. We would spend most of our conversation on these talk shows talking about us and what we ain't doing and what our problem is. And then we would argue with each other about our views about each other.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, the same man got his foot on your neck, got his foot on my neck.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
You may be in the north end of the boat. I'm in the south end of the boat. But the damn boat is sinking.
Mm-hmm.
And we arguing about our little piece of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And it may mean I'm sinking faster in the south than you are in the north. But be patient. You're going down. And that's where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a lot of the talk shows, I'm in Buffalo, New York. I've been in Buffalo for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to be with an organization that came down, and I'm telling you, the street that where this man shot and killed 10 of our people, or 10 people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is like the whole street is like a festival street. And there's so many organizations from around the country that's coming in and helping the people. But when I look at all the organizations that's giving free food, giving free this, giving free that, all of them are white organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at us like we in the doggone welfare line. And these people in the Buffalonians, they happy. They getting Pampers, they getting food, they getting groceries, they walking around with 4 or 5 super shopping bags.
Mm-hmm.
The homeless people are got so much food, they're talking about getting a refrigerator under the bridge because they don't know where to keep all the food that they got.
Wow. Wow.
So this is the attitude, because in the mindset, they've already arrested 2 guys who wrote on the fence, kill niggas. And I'm listening to talking about voting. And I'm saying, man, there is a serious cabal of a mindset. And if we ask, what mindset? Who has this attitude of want to go in and just absolutely massacre black people? Is it a Republican? Is it a Democrat? What mindset does this kind of racist attitude come from? And if you ask black people, they're going to tell you that's a Republican mindset. That's what they're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, why do they have this attitude that they must feel they have to annihilate blacks or gays or Asians? Why is it come out of a racist mindset that is labeled Republican? Now, I'm sure there's some Democrats that had a hand in some things, but the majority of black people, they just believe this is a conservative, racist mindset that is being brewed. Even when you talk about red
I think we're having an issue with Muhammad's feed there. We'll come right back to him. Badger, let me ask you this question. And good morning, Badger. How you doing
Good
this morning?
morning. Interesting. Good morning.
Badger, I'm gonna go.
Raheem,
Yes.
I just want you to know, I don't know if that my number was on there, but I am waiting.
Okay. Yeah. It just popped up. Okay, I'm coming to you next. And thank you. I'm glad you're here this morning, Badger. We talking about politics. Warlock against Walker.
Yeah.
They're going for the same thing. And it's been said that Leonard said earlier that Warlock has done some great things as a minister. He's done some great things as a minister, and that's who he is, and he have a track record of that. Do you think? And I'm asking you this question. You got 3 minutes to answer it. A preacher should go into politics. Should they marry each other?
Ooh, of course you'd come to me with that. I'm gonna be honest. That's a hard one for me to respond to. If he's truly done good for the community and is in it for the best of all people and put some of his personal views to the side, I'd vote for him. Matter of fact, out of the ones I saw, I'd vote for him if I was in Georgia, to be honest.
You mean Warlock?
Yeah, the preacher guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Warlock. Yeah.
Warnock.
Warnock. Okay. Look, I'm so sorry. Warnock. Okay.
Because looking at the history of the other guys, not so good. Because it's, to me, what have they done before they came to this position? And then what are they talking about they're going to try to do in that position? Actions matter a lot to me in the political world, because our political world is messed up. You know, because when it comes, all right, so I also heard a comment about the Republicans versus Democrats. Me looking up a lot of the bills that I've been looking up, I've been trying to stay on top of all the ones that are being suggested, being passed, and all that. A lot of the bills that are being passed that a lot people don't agree with have been written by Republicans and are primarily voted for by Republicans.
Do you have any examples?
Oh man, Roe versus is it Roe versus Wade?
Yeah, Roe versus Wade. Yes.
That one is probably 80% Republicans. The lynching bill that got passed was Democrats. Republicans didn't want to pass it. So when you look at different things like that, but at the same time, is it just a ploy? So it's a matter of perception either way it goes.
30 seconds, Badger.
Okay. So in a nutshell, if a person has done good for the communities in a nutshell, and he can keep his personal belief out of it and focus on what's best for the whole, that's who we should be voting for. As simple as that. I don't care if they're liberal, Republican, whatever. If it's best for the whole, that's what matters.
Good deal. Good deal. Cassandra, Enrico coming to you next. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Really quickly, I wanted to say something. We need to make sure that we correct if something has gone out wrong. When we say that Warnock hasn't done anything, as a junior senator, Warnock has had enacted 2 legislations. That's almost unheard of. Do you know how hard it is to get your legislation, your bill enacted? And he's had 2 enacted so far as a junior senator. I'm just going to throw that out there. You can look that up. It's the maternal and the to conduct a study on disparity with race and ethnicity with respect to certain benefits for poorer people. Okay, so that's 2 that he did.
The Kira Johnson Act, Andrew?
Yes, yeah. See, so we need to make sure that we get the right information out now. And he has sponsored bills on armed forces, transportation, government and operations, civil rights and liberties, agriculture, crime, and law enforcement. He has introduced bills on capping the cost for the Seniors Act, so that older people like me don't have to pay all those crazy prices for medication. Relief for Families Act, which is something else to help the poor. Come on now, we come on. This is what we need people doing. This is what we need people doing. We need help for the Bible. For those, since most of us are Christians, the Bible talks about us helping the poor and the widows. This is what this man has been doing. So let's make it clear. He has done a lot since he has been in there, Senator Warnock. So Herschel Walker, all I know about him basically is I know he's been charged with assaulting his wife, which is a no-go for me because of what I stand for, point blank, period. He's out. I don't care who you are.
Wow.
So, let's just make it clear. That's just all. That's it.
Okay, good deal, good deal. It's a lot, man. It's a lot going on, man, and domestic violence and all kind of stuff. It's a lot going on. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? You got 3 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, man. That's how you handle it. Clarity. That's how you handle it. You clarify information and you knock the wrong information out the air. You nip it in the bud before it pick up wings. Because evidently it picked up wings for it to come on here. Now that might have just been an opinion that he hadn't done anything, but what we did, we came back with the facts. And so now that gives people another opportunity to go back and look at his record, look at his resume, look at his background. Don't listen to what anybody else says, because that might just be an emotional opinion or just an in general opinion based off the fact that, maybe everything hadn't been paid attention to. So that's the way we have to handle that, man. I think that's good, because we have to get more involved. And on top of being more involved, we have to be more properly informed. So I hope that we can find a way to come up with solutions or agendas or maybe plans to get people to participate today. Because one thing about it, by the end of the night, the numbers going to be disappointing. In the amount of people that participated. And once again, after this election, whoever wins, we're going to go through another 4 years or 2 years of people complaining about the way things are. They don't put enough funding into these schools, these children slipping through the cracks, school to prison pipeline, people shooting up schools, Second Amendment. It's going to be the same arguments from the people that don't think it's important enough to go out there and show up today. Or some of the people that might say, well, you know what? I ain't voting for Warnock. I heard he wasn't doing nothing, and I ain't seen it neither. Because I ain't been paying attention to things that he does in the first place. Are you gonna know what Warnock did or whatever politician did, whoever it is, if you don't participate or involve yourself enough to know what they're doing?
1 minute, Rico.
So I just like the way that went. And I hope now that we can start finding ways to create a trend. I tell people that in our community, the melanated community, we need to start making excellence and academics cool again. Make that a new trend. And we also need to find a way to start being involved in what's important, our priorities, the political arena, of a new trend, since trend is bigger than tradition now. Well, let's go ahead and make voting the trend, since that's what people follow. But whatever it takes, we need to find some type of way to use that same psychological game to manipulate or motivate people to start being involved. Because these numbers going to be sad at the end of the day. And we're going to end up having the same arguments for the next 2 or 4 years until the next election.
Absolutely. Charles?
As for Warnock, everybody have good and bad. I really hadn't paid attention to the dude. I just, he has domestic problems also. So it's funny how one person's domestic problems outweigh another person's domestic problems because of how we feel about that person. That's just how it is. It's how we feel. I mean, one person can, do something bad to their wife and another person can't, but we're only going to count one guy. So it's understood now. Warnock has done those, and Cassandra's right. Warnock has done those things, just like, but my man Herschel Walker is not a politician, so he hadn't had a chance to do those things. He had been like different organizations for like stuttering, helping out poor kids, you know, to help get them into sports and things like that. And he had his issues. So it's usually what you stand for. When you got, and the thing is, I think a lot of people gonna understand is that he's backed by Trump, and right now, Trump compared to Biden, Trump is looking real good because his economy was better than Biden's. Simple as that. It's a fact. You know, gas wasn't up $4. You understand? You can find baby formula. You know what I'm saying? The grocery store meats wasn't as expensive as they are. Mm-hmm. So those things when people have to live by are definitely what's going on. You know, when you have to live by something and you're going through, like usually the primary, it always changes. That's how not primary, but usually like midterm elections, it always changes of power if the person who's in charge is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. So you don't look for a good turnout for the Democrat Party because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are not doing that good. These are facts. We can go back and forth on everything we know or we can talk about, but usually when the economy is not doing good, and I'm not saying that Warnock's going to lose either, but but I guarantee you more Democrats lose their seats because of what the economy is saying right now. You understand what we went through with shutting everything down. Those things are remembered by certain people. Certain people we remember what's in front of us today. But certain people who really follow politics and politicians, they're going to go by what is going on right now in America. We're sending $40 billion over to another country.
30 seconds,
right, we're sending $40 billion to another country, but we didn't do, but the same black people who voted for you that you weren't black if you didn't vote for them gets nothing. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, you got crack pipes, and you did get crack pipes, and Juneteenth. That's what you got. That's what you got. Okay.
Max Payne on one of the apps that we on Big O, he said Democrats send all our money to Ukraine. Send all our money to Ukraine. We are sick of this, and he used a French word that I cannot say on this particular platform, but he said we are sick of that stuff. I said he didn't say stuff, but he said they're sick of it. The phone line,
sugar honey iced tea.
It sure was. Phone lines are open 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Tell us what you think about this particular topic we're talking about today. Let me go right now to
Can I jump in real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. So Warnock, what ended up happening before he tried to get in the office was just to make sure everyone understands what's going on. He was accused of, his wife tried to accuse him of running over her foot. She went to the ER, they x-rayed her foot and everything else. No injuries whatsoever, no broken bones, no bruises, no nothing. So she falsely accused him, and he's now filing charges against her for that. He just literally said it didn't happen. Yes, we're getting a divorce, and we're just wanting to make sure the kids are nice and safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. So he's been very open about the whole thing.
Wow. So there's no grounds of him having any domestics.
No grounds.
Okay.
The other part, as far as the Democrats sending money over and things like that,
mm-hmm.
I don't per se agree with it because we need the money to stay here in America. But I can tell you this much right now. The reason everything has gone up and minimum wage hasn't, you can thank your Republicans for that. Have fun.
Wow.
Thank you.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. If you want to comment, you're more than welcome to give us a call. We love to have your input. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
This is one of them conversations I just listen and shake my head because I don't have a dog in the hunt. I'm just trying to do me. And ain't no use me reach out way over there when I got problems at home. Now here's the kicker. We got to realize where we are, and we talk about how gas prices and shortages and shortages. You ever went to any establishment and realized that they shorthanded everywhere? There is a war, and this country has been supporting and trying to police the world for years. Whether they're Republicans or Democrats, they do it. They gonna keep doing it because we stupid. And we vote them in like that. We always been doing that.
How do you really feel?
And so, yeah, I'd said it. I mean, you know, it's just ignorant of and it just amazes me how it causes us to throw dirt on each other while they really don't. Can't say that. So let me just listen.
Okay.
You know, let me just shut up. I'll just listen in.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, shit, shucks.
Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Okay, Toussaint.
Exactly.
I'm actually with your niece. I'm gonna tell her how you acting. But anyway, yeah. So this is my thing. I just want us to get good information. Okay, I'm really big on that. So we have Mr. Warnock and what his wife said, since we wanted to address that, and the abuse, whatever she said, was not founded. And then she went to court and said he wasn't visiting the children, and whatever. The judge said go to mediation. So I mean, if you want, but when you get to Herschel Walker, he himself admitted to his domestic violence thing and his mental health. I have no problem with mental health issues. You need to get help. But the abuse that you did to the woman, you know, that is going to stand all by itself. You admitted that. He admitted that. He admitted to that. So, you know, it's like apples and oranges to me. And I believe that, you know, Warnock record speaks for itself. Before he even got in there, the things that he was doing, and then what he has pursued shows me that his heart is for the people, not for big money, not for, you know, everybody making a few more extra millions of dollars, but he is for the people, and that is what is the most important to me. Someone that is for the people.
Absolutely, that's good. That's good. Keep this thing going. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis. What's on your heart? Toya? We might have lost Toya. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
I really don't have too much on my heart, man. The record speaks for itself.
Good deal. Good deal.
The record speaks for itself.
Okay. Captain, talk to me.
Well, you know, I was listening to Sister. She said he's for the people. Yeah, well, what people? Hitler was for the people, but he was for the German people. I understand that every time we hear somebody say he's for the people, that's all right. That's good. He got a record. Most certainly, no politician you vote today is on a moral ticket. You can't vote a politician on a moral ticket or you won't have a politician. We don't look at the morality of anybody we vote unless it's so gross as, like Sister said, you know, you beat your wife. It's kind of hard that we can vote for you. You're a wife beater, child molester. You know, you got DWI, you killed somebody while you was drinking, driving. Those are issues. But today you buy politicians. Every political politician gets in office because of a lobbyist group that raised money for them.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the Democrats, which mostly our people belong to, we don't try to put the kind of money to buy a politician. We just vote them in office. But, you know, there's money. You can get the most dumbest individual in office if you got the right money to put him in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't use money to put a politician in office because that we don't have. We do have it, but we don't use it for advancement. But one of the things I want to ask Brother Raheem, which is very important to this audience, if Black people, particularly Black people, was to become independent and self-sufficient, meaning that we are like any other nationality, we have a base within our own race that we keep as our own ability to finance everything we need without needing someone to do for us what we have the ability to do for ourselves. Would a people with that kind of independent thinking, independent power, would we be an asset to America or a threat to America?
Both.
Mm-hmm. It seemed to be that Wall Street, Black Wall Street, was that. So what do you want? You want Black people to depend on you for everything and then knock us and then talk about us when we don't pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, and then when we pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, we're a threat to you. You can't have it both ways, but Black folks, we got to make it up in our mind. How are we going to continue to let people dictate to us their politics?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we going to go for ourselves and become independent like every other race in America and stop depending on other people to do for us what we have the ability to do for ourselves?
Absolutely.
That's all I have to say.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
I think people will pursue those things that are in their best interest. What is in the interest of one Black person is not necessarily the interest of another Black person.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope that people vote their interest. Now, when people vote their interest, then you go look at that data and you'll see what that data says on what they're interested in and what is important. It's not so much, one, I have to operate outside the color of my skin. There's other things, other objectives and goals and things that have nothing to do with the color of my skin at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if there are people who don't have those things, more power to them as well. Please go get your own party, do whatever it is you've always been able to do. And we have to understand the fact of the matter is there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. You have nothing. You bring nothing. If you constantly operate this way and stick to these romances, you're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's just about Black people. Look at the same concept with other people. We talk about how much you love China. Do you know China is communist? Did you forget that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you forget that? They stick together. Why? Because you have always attacked them. So they have to stick. That's why they stick together.
Mm-hmm.
Because of their culture. That's what they have. But now, there are some people that don't want you to be free to choose whatever you want. There are those people who believe you should do what you told by certain people. And I'm sorry, I don't prefer masters, Black ones over white ones.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I will do what I want to do. And I hope that everybody understands that it's your choice. You have that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want it, guess what? Someone will gladly take that from you. If you believe that you can't go nowhere, stay where the hell you at.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, one, you have a diverse group of people that are just about awesome in most things that they pursue with their whole heart.
Mm-hmm.
Why should they stifle themselves because 2 or 3 of you don't get it?
Absolutely.
Or don't want it?
Mm-hmm.
Or don't care for it?
or simply choose something else.
30 seconds, Leonard. Leonard, that's it.
I'm done.
Brother Pete, talk to me, sir.
Well, to sum it up, where we are presently today, the republic itself is in danger. The concept of democracy has a strong threat against its survival, and the system of laws that says we are a nation of laws, and we are governed equally by laws, is not being properly applied. So when we look at those three, we have some very serious situations and questions that we need answers to. So certainly, if you are registered and able to participate, vote for those that you feel will do your bidding. But once you cast your vote for whomever, it is your individual responsibility to stay in contact with that person whom you voted for. And certainly, if they are the ultimate winner of that particular contest, then it is your duty to keep them informed of the needs in your area, immediate area, in your outlining area, in your whole state, and relative to the nation. They are there to do your bidding, whomever they are, wherever they are, whether it's in the state, in the judiciary, down in D.C., they are all elected to do the bidding of the people. If there's a judge that you don't like, vote him out.
Yeah.
If there's an elected official that you don't like, there's a recall process. Start it. Get them out of there. Don't wait. It's your civil duty as the individual of we the people, who this structured society says are the ones that collectively are in charge. Nobody's behind is glued to any seat anywhere.
Yeah, come on.
They're elected to be there, and you can remove them from there. So understand that ultimately you have the power, and you have to constantly utilize your power and remind the elected ones whom they represent and what they are wherever to do. And that is to represent your collective interest. And if you individually, the voters, fail to consistently do that, then the situation that we have in this society is ultimately your fault as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. Charles, I'm going to change the subject just for a second or two, and I'll come to you.
Okay, bro.
Charles, explain to me, what is it that most people don't understand about CRT?
What people don't understand about it?
Yes.
I think the ones who like it understand it. And hey, let me tell you, Pete, brothers, you are on point. But I think most people understand it. Critical race theory.
Yes.
Most people understand what it is. The ones who are against it understand what it is, and the ones who are for it understand what it is, and they want it. I really myself, I think it's a waste of time. Me being a black man, I think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time and it's a throw off. You're talking to a black man who been in the military, been in prison, and got his own business in Africa right now. You know what I'm saying? And in America. So I don't need nobody to critically theory my race. I got to do what I got to do to make it better for my family, which then in fact makes it better for America. You understand? What Cap was saying was so important that we don't even understand, man, that we don't own anything as manufacturer wise and things like that, so that we can get lobbyists and things like that. We don't understand politics. We really don't understand politics, other than what Pete just said of exactly what we need to do. We just don't get it. And going back to your CRT thing, I'm really not into that. I really haven't been following it because I don't need nobody to theorize anything for me. Theorizing things for me don't make me money. Bless me so I can bless others. Theories and telling my kids that they can't make it because they're black, I'm against that. That's if it says that. Like I said, I haven't been following it. But you can't, the schools can't tell my kids that they're below anybody, if that's what's about. And the schools can't tell my kids that they're above anybody, if that's what's about, because I do that.
Wow. Okay.
I tell them that they ain't below nobody. and ain't nobody above you, and you ain't no better than nobody else, unless we talking about basketball and Little Charles. But anyway, it's a whole different subject.
Rico, what do you say? What do you say about this CRT? We got some background noise coming from somebody's line. Mute the line. We got some terrible background noise coming from somebody's line. I don't know where it's coming from. But Rico, what's on your heart about this CRT?
What's on my heart is if anybody want to know about it, they need to go look it up and form their own opinion about it. I don't see a problem with it, but I want to take this 3 minutes, take this opportunity to utilize it to actually see if somebody can get something out of this conversation. So today, the polls will close at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, depending on what time you are, what time or what city you're in, what state you're in. But if you are unhappy with the current situation, you are unhappy with certain judges or politicians that you feel like aren't doing the job, today is the day you do something about it. Now you get your chance. Not any other day, today. Just as adamant as y'all was and up in arms as y'all was about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, laughing about Kevin Samuels, now it's time to laugh about voting some of these people out of office that we feel like haven't been in our best interest. I agree with what Leonard said. I agree with what Pete said, Charles said. You know, we don't play the game right. We don't stay involved and engaged. No, we don't invest into the right things. I'm saying we. We don't, in general, as a whole. We don't invest into the right thing. We don't lobby. You might have a few that do it, but, you know, when it comes to the big game, the little money that they lobby, it has no impact on what the Koch brothers could do. But we got money. Oh, man, black people, a black dollar, $4 trillion to the United States economy. Black wealth is so great. Black wealth going to our red bottoms, entertainment and BBLs and face beats. You get what I'm saying? But today is the day that you can put all that stuff that's important to you to the side. Your BBLs and your red bottoms. All your trips and stuff that you want to plan and go and take pictures of. Today is the day that you just go and do something that has more priority.
Yes.
Now, we can't focus on what's going on in Georgia intently, but we can still sort of keep our ear to the radio, to the speaker, to understand that some of those people that's going to get voted in Georgia is going to affect the bigger pictures nationally. Just like in Alabama, we got this guy named Mike Durant. Y'all might not know that name. Might not care because it ain't Alabama, it ain't Mississippi, it ain't Georgia. So I have to make sure that I still participate in my state about the issues that are more important to me, in my best interest. So like Leonard said, I hope everybody votes for what's in their best interest, but I hope they even show up to vote.
Exactly.
I hope they utilize that part of it because even in this state, I'm going to tell you who Mike Durant is first. Mike Durant is one of the guys that was in Black Hawk Down. He was one of the pilots.
He shot down
that survived. And he's running for a seat in Alabama. He's never been qualified to be a politician. Once again, this symbolism and this patriotism thing, you know, they use that Black Hawk Down as a way to promote him. And then Trump. Trump, that's everybody ticket in. But he has a sister that was being screwed by his and her father from a young age up until her adult years. And the father admitted to him that he did it to his sister and his daughter. And Mike came back and told his sister, Dad told me what happened. I'm so sorry. He's such a bad guy. But then when somebody came to him and told him, hey, we took some data on you, man, and we did a study and we found out that for everything you've been through, man, you'd be the perfect image to run and get our agenda across. You'd be good in politics, man. You'd be very favorable. Listen to this story that you have. But you got to change some things up. And what he did, he went back and denied that his sister had been screwed by their father for all them years. Went back and denied that he even admitted that the father had told him. And right now, he's about to take Judge Roy Moore's seat. Now, if y'all know about Judge Roy Moore and everybody else that followed, man, everybody that gets in that seat some crown. Mike Durant on deck. You know, so now I have to pay attention to Alabama politics. So with me saying that, I'm listening to how everybody talking, and I know that y'all are in Georgia and y'all are on Warnock and Herschel. but there are other listeners in other states who need to
Exactly.
understand that when they get off this phone, they need to look up the politicians who are in place, who are running, look at the things that they are unhappy about, find out who supports what's against what they're for and who is for what they're for, and use today to start making some action.
Good deal. Good deal. Got to keep this thing moving, man. And if you're in another city and state, like I said, we're here in Georgia, and people in different places, call in, let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Give us a call, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Who's running in your city or state? Who's running for those seats? Let us know. You know, we don't know everything about every city and every state that's out there. So y'all educate us as to what's going on. Tell us your opinion as to what it is that's going on in your city and in your state. Badger, what's on your heart?
I was just looking up a few things, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at like current, what's my Texas current candidates and different things like that. I guess since being on the show and stuff and being in some of the other groups that I'm associated with, I'm tired of the political fighting. I'm tired of it. And I always get shut down a lot of times, or just politely ignored or overlooked. Not saying on here, but most of the time in like other groups. Because me and my research brain will actually go onto the Congress website, look up all the bills that are being passed or not passed, or the ones that were denied, and figure out who's behind it. Like I shared earlier, you know, one of the bills I was sharing, you know, on the different platforms is one that's talking about the current gas prices, and or another one I was looking at was an amendment, sorry, of voting rights that would be nationwide. I didn't find a Republican that voted for it. Which there goes another example. So when I speak about what Republicans and Democrats are doing or not doing, it's literally because I'm pulling up all of the bills and looking at who's voting for them. So this isn't going on Fox News or CNN or some other mass media nonsense. This is me going and pulling up the bills, either state, local, so like my county laws, state laws, all the way up to government laws, and finding out who's doing what. And this is where I get into kind of either being quiet, because I know some folks just ain't going to listen because they're stubborn and just want to be the way that they want to be, and nothing else matters, even if facts are presented to them.
30 seconds, Badger.
So in a nutshell, I'm down to have these conversations, and I'm open-minded enough to have these conversations, but people need to get their heads out of their rear ends and pay attention to the facts.
I'm glad you said rear end there, fella. I'm glad you said
it. Say a lot more than
that. Public citizen, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I like that you keep the show clean, you know, because we all need better influences in our life.
Exactly.
Well, you asked what's going on. Well, I live in California. It's a, you know, liberal democratic state generally. Crime has shot up enormously here. I think it has in your area too. So yeah, that's what's on the voters' minds right now is crime, and in my area also homelessness. Homelessness is a huge problem here. Like, I mean, there's areas where the whole, you know, you've probably seen pictures of Skid Row, but like there's multiple Skid Rows in LA now, and you know, people are worried about that. So, and the problems are way huger than this election or that election. It's like, you know, everyone's looking for a savior, but none of these guys have the answer really. You know, the problems are way deeper and systemic. So Herschel Walker's terrible. That's my opinion. He's just like not qualified at all. And I think, I think the GOP put him out there just, for all the reasons you guys said, like just like the cynical, he's a football hero. He's really big in Georgia. And, but he's not qualified. I mean, how is he qualified? I mean, he's supported by Trump. That ought to tell you something.
Wow.
Yeah. So like for me, you asked earlier, just to go back to the CRT thing, critical race theory. I'm opposed to that because first of all, it's not like a widespread thing like the teachers are doing, but a lot of teachers can make things worse if they bring up a topic that's really painful. It's like, I mean, history, you have to teach history, and history is painful. And I get that. I'm not saying don't teach history. I'm just saying that if somebody's coming with a political agenda, it can make things worse, and it's painful. Like, can you imagine a teacher comes in with the absolute worst parts of history, and then where do you go with that? And then you're just walking around with all this trauma that's just been dumped on you. So I don't know. This stuff, I mean, I've broken down on this show just because this stuff's painful. So
absolutely. 30 seconds. I'll bug it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Just that you have to teach history, but you got to do it carefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Captain, what do you say about this CRT? Is it good, bad? What is your view on it?
Well, to be honest, what is the CRT? Explain it to me. I'm not.
Critical race theory.
Oh, I thought it was. Okay, I thought it was crisis response team. Okay.
It was at one time. It was. Yes, sir.
Well, let me say this. I was thinking, I'm going to get to your question. My man said that Herschel was not qualified. You had a grade B actor called Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
Became president. You had an actor called the Terminator, became governor. You had a wrestler named Ventura, became governor. We had a rich real estate mogul, became president. And you could go on and you could look, and you had a man that just was a POW, man. He became senator. What makes anybody qualified? These men was actors, comedians. You had, with Franken, he was a comedian. What makes anybody qualified? If we look at every politician from president, they was never in politics. They had a certain fan base. They had a certain following. They had a certain influence, and somebody decided to put money behind them, and boom, there we go.
Yeah.
So the man may not be qualified, but he's in the same race to me with the rest of them. And we have to begin to start saying, all right, if we got the right kind of money, we could put, Bugs Bunny in office. But the bottom line is, I like what Leonard said, you put people in there that's going to do your bidding and vote your interests. Race has always been a factor. If we try to act like race ain't no problem, let me say this. There's some of us who want to claim we pulled ourselves up without our people, and that's a lie. If any one of us on this line made any advancement in our personal life, it's because Black folks helped you get there. And don't get up on the mountain and all of a sudden think you got up there by yourself. And don't think the world is colorblind because you can fraternize with many people because you got that gift of gab. But there's certain places you still go. And when you still go there, I don't care what you put on a kufi, you can put on a hobby, whatever. To them, you're still who you are. And I think that we need to stop trying to justify race is not an issue when race is very much an issue. They redlining district. Why? Based upon what? Race. So we wanted to, and let me say this to you, Georgia. I don't have a dog in that fight. This is y'all's political conversation. And when we look for about Georgia from those who not lived in Georgia, we have a certain stigma about Georgia. We have a certain stigma about Alabama. We have a certain stigma about Mississippi. So you live there. But when we think about Georgia, we think about all the racist lynching. We still got that mentality. When we think about, you come a long way, Georgia, no question about it. But never think that racism is gone. Never think that the good old boys club do not exist no more. So you still fighting a battle, Georgia. But you got to pick this politician. You got to pick it. I ain't got a dog in this fight. And I wish you well, Georgia. I wish you well. You come a long way. And I like my man Ray Charles. Georgia.
Oh Lord, don't you start singing, Cap. Don't we gotta move on. Now, see, now you want to sing. See, now look, now you want to sing. Let me go. Toya, want to see you back with us? Toya, you there? Toya may have stepped away for a second. Cassandra, talk to me. Pete, coming to you next, brother.
Yeah, I know that Georgia and most of your southern states and some of your other states around the country are still swimming in racism, and we can pretend like, hey, I'm getting mine, I'm good, I'm doing well, but my life is about making sure that everyone has that same equality and justice. Everyone. That's white, black, I don't care. Poor, whites, I don't care who you are. It should be the same across the board. And until we get there, then none of us should be at rest or at peace. Because if one man is being treated unjustly, as far as I'm concerned, all of us are being treated unjustly. If one man is being treated in an unequal way, then all of us are being treated that way. And that is the mentality that most of us should have, but we don't. We don't. It's all about me, my four, and no more. That's not how I think. And no, I'm not asking anybody to think like me. Yeah. I believe that we need an even playing field for everyone. Everyone needs to have an equal playing field. And then you can say you're living in an equal and just country. Until then,
how do we get there, Cassandra? How do we get there?
Through just what we're doing now. We're talking about the voting. We have to get out there and vote. And just like Leonard has been saying and several others, we have to get out there and vote for people that will be voting in our interest. The things that are most important to you, those are the people that you want to get in position. And, for me, Warnock represents what I need people to do. I need seniors to be better. I need poor people to be better. I need healthcare, them to have access to healthcare. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. I don't know if I have 30 seconds, but this is the last thing I want to say. Had it not been for the Affordable Care Act, I would be dead.
Wow.
Period, point blank. Period, point blank. I could not afford the surgeries and the medications that I have to take to stay alive. I could not afford it on my own. So for me, it's not even a question. Anybody that is not trying to help in those areas, you will never get my vote.
Wow.
I don't care who you are.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Pete, what's on your heart, brother? Rico, coming to you next. Pete, you there?
She's exactly. My dear sister is she's batting 1,000. See, that's what we're saying. When we talk about the critical race theory, it's a theory, number one. But actually, it's a theory that backs up historical facts. And in order to address a problem, we have to first identify that there is a problem. And then we have to openly and directly address the problem. The concept of the critical race theory is to explain it's not being taught massively, but if it was taught massively, it's to expose the historical errors in the systematic function in various areas in this society and how it has structured society, how it has put concepts and opinions in people's minds, and how it has affected lives. and unjustly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would be the summary of critical race theory. And again, the concept of it is not theory; it's based on facts.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for us to address this historical race inequity that we have in the United States, we have to admit first that it exists. Secondly, we have to confront it. When you get in court, you are accused of a crime. You either plead guilty, no contest, or you say I'm innocent. I did not perform what you're accusing me of doing. They confront it directly. In America, in order to move forward along the lines of race, has to face the fact that America has a race issue that has to be addressed. So it's not going to be addressed until we confront it straight on.
Yeah.
And yes, it's uncomfortable and it makes you uneasy and all of that. But there are pictures of people hanging from trees. There are pictures and documentation of people's limbs being amputated, people's skin being beat off their back, people burned to death. So it's not a theory. It is a fact.
Wow.
Now, when we talk about the structure of this society, again, you know, we want to fully understand that everybody here, green card included, you are the immigrants who get their status, you are able to participate as we the people. And the people of the United States must be reminded and forever hold conscious that you are the power base in this society. Collectively, you represent it.
30
For
seconds
us
speak.
to allow corporations to come in and overwhelm the operation of our governmental structure, not the corporate side, but governmental structure. And we have private corporations operating the execution of tasks in our government performance. That is a problem.
Yeah.
Those things should be orchestrated from a governmental standpoint as the government body, not a private corporation.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I was glad Pete went there, man. I was already thinking along that line. I hate the word theory that they went along with that because it's not a theory. It is complete fact, you know. And sometimes we don't pay attention to the language we use, and then sometimes we mess up the language because we're trying to be too politically correct, or maybe trying to just, you know, not hurt anybody's feelings, you know what I'm saying, or raise the opposition up to the point to where they can use some propaganda to strike it down, so they say things in a nice way. But truly, what it should be named is the anti-black terrorism that made America successful.
That's a long name, Rico.
And CRT is too.
Yeah, it is.
So you just have to put initials on it, but it don't matter how long it is. The truth is the truth.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for racism, terrorism, and savagery, America wouldn't be what it was because they got filthy rich from it. It went from being the youngest country on the planet to the wealthiest, most powerful country on the planet, all based off of how they got this free labor and all these resources by force, by mistreating people, abusing people. So, you know, I'm with him. You know, they put that word theory on there when it shouldn't even be labeled a theory. But I'm thinking about people voting in their best interest. And sometimes you have to really dig into that, because sometimes your best interest might not be your own personal interest, especially if you have compassion and you care about other people. If you're an activist, you know, you're out here in the community trying to help other people that may have less than you. You might have to vote for something that's in their best interest, because only their votes won't be enough to help them, like with taxes, funding programs. So, you know, I think when we say vote for what's in your best interest, vote for what you are passionate about, because what you are passionate about might not be beneficial to you. You know, abortion don't benefit me. Don't hurt me, nor benefit me. But at the same time, for some people that might be in a situation where they need certain rights to be observed, I might vote in their favor. You know, I have children right now, but some people on this platform don't have young children. I have a young son. So some things that might be on the table that affects him, I need to vote for, but the next person might say, well, look, man, I ain't worried about no schools. I ain't even got no children in schools. So they vote for somebody that's taking away the funding. that's taken away from the help or assistance that these children need, but it's not in their best interest. So, you know, I think about the pro football players and the athletes that make these millions of dollars that say, well, you know what? Personally, it would be in my best interest to vote Republican because of the taxes. But I did not forget where I came from. And where I came from, everybody that I grew up with and the people that's growing up in that same neighborhood don't have the same opportunities, don't have the same access, and they need a little help.
Good deal.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and still vote Democrat because the Democrats help those people from where I came from, even though I might get taxed a little bit more, like Obama said, like Warren Buffett said. I don't mind getting taxed a little bit more to help the most vulnerable people. So, you know, we got to remember we are our brother's keepers.
Exactly.
When we vote our best interests, I hope mainly it's for passion instead of our material or superficial benefits.
Good deal. Gotta keep it moving. Charles, what's on your heart, brother? I see you.
Yeah, man, check it out, man. I left and came back. I know you all speaking about the critical race theory. The theory is a theory that they base it off of things that happen in the United States, but it's still a theory. It's not a critical race facts. It's a critical race theory. That's what it is. As for everybody, I agree with one. You got to make the politicians do what they say they're going to do. You have to make them do those things. If you don't, then you'll get beat every time. But my thing is that if we've been, like Rico just said about the sports people who know that a tax break comes with a certain party, everybody has the right to pay more taxes. You will not get in trouble to voluntarily pay more taxes. You won't get in trouble to donate money. You can do those things, but don't try to make me. Don't make me with the same government that you say is corrupt. You want me to give my taxes to them instead of using it the way I want to use it to help out the people I want to help out. You get what I'm saying? How you gonna make me do it when you ain't doing it? You know what I'm saying, why you want me to pay more and you ain't volunteering more? You ain't nobody on here can tell me they volunteer to pay more taxes. Because it's not just the rich people who have to pay it. We all have to pay them. Everybody on here, Tim and me, who even don't have a business or have a business, try to get away from try to get to pay less taxes so they can have more for their family. And like I said, the more I'm blessed, the more people I can bless. And everybody don't think like me, but I guarantee you, everybody on here don't volunteer to pay more taxes. Because you can volunteer now. Nothing's stopping you to pay more taxes. There's no law in the world to say you can't pay more taxes.
That's good.
You pay more taxes.
Don't look at your pocket now.
Don't look at my pocket. You pay more. I'm doing helping my folks out. You help yours out.
Exactly. Anybody have? We're gonna move on to another topic. Anybody have anything that's on their heart before we finish this one out?
I have a quick thing.
Okay, go ahead, Public.
Okay. So yeah, just to fact check what the difference between theory. Theory means different things in different contexts. So I posted in the chat box. Critical race theory is rooted in critical theory, which is rooted in Marxism. So it's a political advocacy. So it's basically the people who created it were identifying that racism and white supremacy has influenced all factors of our lives, which is indisputable. I mean, people do dispute that. I don't dispute that. Anyone who's educated does not dispute that. The problem is that many people don't even acknowledge that basic fact that white supremacy and systemic racism is a problem. So if you bring that into a school, it's going to cause problems. So
what are some of those problems? What are some of those problems that can cause? Public. What are some of those problems?
I talk to conservatives, and they are so entrenched in their ideology that they can't possibly see any other point of view. They can't see. They're very like fragile, and like any kind of criticism of white, they just take it so personally and they will fight you to the death, right? And then you get things like you have all this extremism and stuff. So I'm saying it's not the solution. I'm saying that the solution is more like kind of like what Rico's talking about with like, invest in education and, reform the systems with healthcare, and like Cassandra was saying with, the Affordable Care Act and all this stuff. That's how you make changes. But like to bring it to the schools, you saw how they reacted when, anything controversial comes up in a school. They just, they go to the school board and they start yelling and just, it's just, I'm not saying conflict's bad. Conflict can be good, but I just don't think that's the way to do it. It's just my opinion.
Okay, that's good. Anybody else?
Raheem, yeah. Literally, it makes me want to cry to hear public citizens say that. And I know that he means that in all goodness, but where was everybody, all of the white people that are so freaking sensitive and concerned now? Where were they when we are still have been always in this country treated like crap? Where were they in their opinions then? Where was their thought process about, oh, that's not right, you don't treat people like that, you don't do? Where were they when all of that was happening? No, if you have to face your demons, face your demons. You did it. If you didn't do it, your granddaddy did it, your great granddaddy did it, and now we're trying to correct it. Why is it that black people always have to step back and not tell our stories and our pain to soothe white people and what they feel? To me, that's not fair. That means you want me to shut up about what I've been through and what my people been through, but you can say all you want about how great America is. Well, it hasn't been great to us.
Wow.
It has not
It's been great to me.
You know what? Well, good. If it's been great to you, it's been great to you. It hasn't been great to the rest of us. I mean, not the rest of us, to a lot of us. I'm glad that it's been great to you, Charles, and a whole bunch of other black people and white people. I'm glad. But there's a large percentage of us that it has not been good to.
Wow.
It hasn't.
Exactly. Let me go to the phone line.
If I can back up when she
hold on.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Everybody, hold on. I got some people on the phone line I have not touched. They've been waiting on for a minute. I gotta touch them and I come right back. Pete, I promise I'm gonna circle back around to you, brother. Give me 1 second. K with the E. What's on your heart?
Good morning, everybody. I'm blessed, and to hear everybody and what I done heard so far. Let me tell y'all what's really bad and what's really sad. First of all, last weekend, we did a 25th celebration for Precious Doe, Erica Green from Oklahoma, and her parents cut her up and beat her and did all kind of stuff. And people sat in a house and listened to it and nobody reported it. So what's sad is when we're doing it to ourselves as if we have not already been treated like that. What's sad is what I have to call mediation to deal with a family member with sisters after I done got phone calls. 3 sisters passed away. 3 different people called me yesterday morning. I cried all day yesterday because 3 sisters just passed away, and then it's another family with 3 sisters, and they're not getting along. It's crazy when we're doing it to ourselves to know our history. I think that's the problem right there. They talking about dealing with racism. Well, it's among us. We racist against our own. So when do it stop? We have to stop it. We got to stop killing each other first. It just don't make sense to me what we talking about. And then this is all going around us. So what's really going on?
Wow.
I'm done.
That's good. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning? Willa, you there? I'll come back to you. Pete, what's on your heart, brother?
Dear sister, you're right. We definitely need to clean up our act, but we're not going to negate the existence of other improprieties. Every group kills their own. Every group has psychopaths in their group and all type of horrible conditions going on. So we absolutely need to be individually and collectively responsible. Absolutely, first and foremost. But we're not going to negate what we're talking about with critical race theory by just pointing on our individual, because that goes on amongst everybody. But what I want to say is this: when you have land grants that state these houses cannot be sold to nobody but Caucasians. That's American history. Okay, I have one. I can show the proof. I'm not talking theory to you. I can show it to you. When you have situations where individuals were not allowed to have health care, individuals were not allowed to vote. Even today, the trickery that's played in the voting process in our respective districts. When you can teach slavery in public school and emphasize the history of slavery in class, then you can certainly talk about the inequities of slavery. Yes, there were Caucasians who were slaves as well. There were Caucasians who were slaves as well. Black Europeans who came here were identified and treated as Caucasians back in the day. So the whole concept needs to be taught because it is set a precedent in this society that is still existing today, and it's foolishness and it's highly detrimental. If we taught these things more openly, we might not have these maniacs going into churches and schools and mosques assassinating people because of the perspective that they have from the vestiges of the ignorance and the foolishness and the outright devilment that was conducted and created way back then and has continued in varying degrees systematically. That's why they need to address the issue. If they can address it with the Germans and the Jews, then they can certainly address it in America. And the fact that you're feeling it's uncomfortable, that has no relevance, no consideration, is given no grace or no space at all. None. If you're going to address the issue, then you have to address the issue. Period. That's what has to happen. So until America gets there, we will continue to have what we have. The melanated people in this society have gone through some serious things and unique experiences, unique to this society, and it has created unique situations. We say a good portion of the melanated folk in this country needs some form of mental health because you grow up in a society that is anti your very existence in its systematic application. It may be addressing, adjusting, improving slightly here and there, but we need to formally deal with the issue. You've been whooping your wife, and we're tired of seeing your wife with black eyes and broken noses and missing teeth and her jaw wire. Now we're going to sit you down and say, look here, bro, you're going to have to stop doing this to this woman. Period. So either you're going to stop or we're going to have to lock you up. We're going to have to stop you. Something going to happen to you. We got to address the issue. That's all it is.
Exactly.
That's all it is. So that's dealing with the hearts of man and compassion and your spirituality and whatever and all of that. But the bottom line is, if we're going to deal with it, we have to deal with it. And that's it.
Good deal. Curtis, what's on your heart? Badger, come to you next. Kurt, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
Talk to me.
I'm right here. Man, I just heard Cassandra and Brother P. And as much as we want to try, let me put it like this right here, man. They dead on point. And I'm gonna say it, words of the late great Paul Mooney. We all gonna get a nigga wake up call. Keep on thinking that you done made it and that you there and it's equal and fair. Critical race theory is nothing that was created in a law office. It was a theory created by lawyers to either defend or prove a case. Critical race theory as a theory is not taught in any public schools. So why are we even arguing that? And then if you're going to argue that it's so wrong, then what about replacement theory? Okay, if we're going to argue, you know, it's funny. It's just funny to me how people can be so doggone phony. Just phony for no reason. The only purpose is that their pockets is aligned and their pockets is straight. We have a civic and social duty to the people who are less fortunate. If you're not rocking that way, one, you're not getting my vote. Q, you're not getting my time, and I don't need you in my conversation. Because the world is bigger than you. It's bigger than me.
Come on.
One of the things that I live my life with, man, is the first actual book that I ever read from front to back. The second actual book that I ever read from front to back was by Naeem Akbar. It was called Visions of a Black Man.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most powerful things I ever read was Naeem Akbar said that as a leader, you have a larger responsibility, not to a small me, but to a much larger us.
Mm-hmm.
I read that book when I was 14.
Wow.
14, 15 years old, I read that.
Mm-hmm.
All this other, listen, you cannot address society's issues without addressing the systemic and continuous racism that is playing out in the society for which you live.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. How you going to address society and, oh, we're going to address society, but we're going to forget all about history. We're going to throw history away. What? Then if that's the case, then you know what? Don't look at nobody and say, oh, well, he a thug because, you know, I'm saying that because he got 50 armed robbery charges. He got 5 assault charges. Blah, blah. If you saying we're going to throw history away, then you throw all of it away.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just hold on to some of the history just to support or just to make your just to keep your heart straight.
Exactly.
We have a responsibility. That's what the Constitution says, that the people have a responsibility to people. That's basically what the Constitution says.
Good deal. Good deal.
Come on, man.
Got to keep it moving, Kurt. Got to keep it moving, brother. Let me see. Badger. I was gonna come. I think I said Badger was gonna come to next, right? Badger.
You know, hearing the comments I was hearing, when you devote your time to help your community and have your community tell you to shut up because you're causing too much problems,
mm-hmm.
it makes you have to look at things very differently. So here's this white-skinned human being trying to tell untold stories and fight for rights, being told to shut up by another group of people from a different race because I was causing problems.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't matter that I was trying to solve those problems. And, you know, we're in a state that doesn't really care about people with mental health, doesn't really have a lot of access to things in regards to helping out. We're trying to leave Texas and go to another state, and pretty much being told by every government program that is supposed to assist poor people, because we are classified as poor, we make way less than the national average for what people should be making to live by. And I'm hearing all these things, you know, I don't think this has come up yet, but the white privilege comments I've been hearing off and on, because I joined the group that Public Citizen was talking about,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know why their brains are so closed off. Anyone that comes on there that has an opinion, has facts and everything, trying to present them all of those facts, it doesn't register, and they're not open-minded enough to get it, I guess. I'm not sure what's mentally wrong with those human beings. So if there is this huge thing called white privilege to be able to get help because of, you know, based on skin color, I'd love to know where it is and how to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So
30 seconds.
In a nutshell, I guess where I'm getting at is I'm hearing a lot of what I've heard some people have gone through. outside of racism I can relate to. I'm constantly looked down upon by any political group because I'm poor. I don't have money. I don't use people. I stand up for people. And yet they don't want me to have a voice whatsoever. And the local people in the area won't back me up. So it's going to depend on where you live, what type of mentality those people have, and where they choose to be. So there are people out there that are willing to fight and do their best to fight all the time. But a lot of times their communities don't let them have a voice.
Absolutely.
So how are we going to fix that?
Absolutely. Got to keep it moving there, Badger. Let me see who anybody else got anything on the heart before we go to something else? Leonard, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I want to give kudos to Pete and Cassandra, man. I mean, because they did knock it out the park, man, with those comments. I mean, there's no way around it. America's history is what it is. And, you know, he made the point about the Nazis and what Germany did. And, you know, I remember Leonard made a point earlier about not confronting, but addressing your representatives and making sure they stand on your ideals or whatever, you know, to a certain extent. And I've done that. You know, people around here that have pull and influence a platform, politicking, you know, coming to the black community, talking about how we like to barbecue all the time and stand in the middle of the road and stop traffic and greet each other. Ooh, I just love black people. Patronizing us and appeasing us, saying the wrong thing, thinking we ain't reading between the lines. And sometimes we don't pick up on it. So we just happy to have them in our presence. But I make them uncomfortable because America is what it is. So I step up to them. Hey, how about we start trying to find a way to make racism and white supremacy illegal? Let's create a deterrent. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Wait a minute. Germany did. Russia did. Communism did. You mean to tell me that we can't create a deterrent where when people are found or discovered to have been practicing white supremacy, that they won't have some mandatory time or some penalties that may discourage that on down the road? You know, so I was listening to what he was saying, man, and that is what we have to do. We have to make and bring up the issues that are uncomfortable. So Badger asked, I don't know why those people don't want to change their mind. They don't want to give up their comforts, or they don't want to take the risk of that their comforts may have to be taken from them, or that they may lose some because they have to share them. That was the whole reason they didn't want us free. They didn't want us to vote, because we might end up moving into their neighborhood. We're going to be taking food out of their mouths, quote unquote. So now you got today's people that say, well, I ain't privileged. But then when they get pulled over and get a slap on the wrist for something they should have went to jail for, they say, man, I'm so glad being white. When they see that somebody else on cops or whatever, one of these cops shows get pulled over and harassed and screamed at, stop resisting. Man, I ain't resisting. What you talking about? Pop taser. Well, when I got pulled over, they didn't do that to me. He must have did something bad. Yeah, he was born black. You want to find some white supremacy? Some people don't want to give up that privilege and that entitlement of the benefit of doubt. Their comfort zone of being looked at and not being looked at suspiciously. Even though you're coming back the next day to kill 10 of us. And I listen to people that look like me say that race ain't an issue and that everything been good for them. And they ain't got no problems. But I know that would be a different tune if they were pulled over by the right one. I'm going to say the wrong one. And they had to go through some of those issues that George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery went through. I guarantee you.
30 seconds.
That rude awakening would change that whole concept of how great things have been over here for them. How racism is not an issue. And the wealth that everybody's getting, all this great wealth and this and that, but that wealth ain't helping them right now.
Good deal. Good deal.
Only thing that's important at that point in time is that you black and you were still in the wrong place. I mean, melanated.
Exactly. Captain, talk to me. What's on your heart? Captain, you there? Leonard, talk to me, brother.
it's always, you know, good to listen to what's actually going on, because you know I'm big on choice, and you know the fact you can go look them up. Critical race theory is what it is. I've used it as the basis for dissertation and things like that, various issues. Very versed in critical race theory. What amazes me is the fact that, one, it ain't that difficult. All you got to go do is look and see what it's about. It ain't different than a whole lot of other theories and how they came about. The fact is, there are some people that are afraid of it for the very simple fact the truth will be exposed. If you hate truth, then you must be one of those people that love lies. So if that is you, that's just who you are. Now, if you want to change, go change. Everybody ain't stupid. That's what people need to stop saying. You might be stupid, but everybody ain't. So quit claiming ignorance for everybody. Some people just simply are not interested, or it does not matter to them. Some people are more governed by their emotional senses. Other people prefer facts.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I write, so I have to be factual because I will be challenged. What separates theory from opinion is that these are research facts.
Yes.
And one, they are peer reviewed by people who do it for a living. Dr. Bell was an attorney who decided to do a lot of this study and put a lot of work towards it. Most of his work is embodied in critical race theory. However, there was another attorney, Dr. Crenshaw, who actually, I believe, come up with the phrase. So if you're going to look at critical race theory, go find out what it is. Instead of, you don't put up 10 reasons about what it ain't. Or you don't know. Next question.
Yeah.
Quit making stuff up as you go. It may be entertaining, but it does nothing for people who seek truth. And how you feel about it, we're going to get past that.
Hey, Leonard, you got I'm gonna pause your time just for a second, and if there's a question asked, and Charles asked the question, how does CRT help the Black community? I'm going to resume your time now.
The way that critical race theory helps the Black community, because what it did is it pointed out those disadvantages of what was actually going on in the legal system. This was what it was before, critical legal studies. So one, it pointed out the disenfranchisement of African Americans as it relates to justice. Now, what happened is more scholars started writing about these phenomena. Why Black folks getting pulled over and coming up missing in Alabama and all over the place still after all this great legislation? It was because of the impact of racism. And so as scholars such as myself, once I write, it's attributed to critical race theory. Why? Because it's tested. I just didn't make up a 70% number. No, 70% of the people that I questioned over maybe thousands of people, this is what the result was. And from this result, we can draw this conclusion. We can look at it both statistically as well as looking at it from a quality point of view. That's why there's two bodies of research, quantitative and qualitative. Qualitative says you can say maybe use loose words and things like that. Quantitative says here's the numbers. So this is a very educated, disciplined, interrelated study theory that people cannot oppose.
Exactly.
Because the facts are there. And if you oppose it, there's a fact there that makes you a liar.
Wow. Public citizen, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Yeah. So, we had spoken in the past about having a meeting with bringing in some of these white people, and some of the people I know, they are pretty racist, and some of them are very anti-racist. So this is a topic. I'm a writer too. I've been writing on this topic for years, so I read a lot about this topic. I debate about this topic. I like to talk to different people. That's why I like listening to the show. I like talking to the people on the show. So I don't have all the answers. I'm open to learning. I would just like to invite people. Maybe we could have a meeting with some of these white people, maybe this Saturday. I'm in California, so it's a time difference. So maybe like Saturday afternoon. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that.
Okay. It will probably I will be interested, but it will probably be better for me next week because I have an event this Sunday. I have an event this Sunday, and so I know I'm gonna be doing a lot of preparation Saturday. So I really won't, have the time to set aside to do it then. But if you wanna push it back a week, we could definitely do it next week Saturday. We can definitely make that happen.
Oh,
But
the following Saturday. Okay.
yes.
I'll have to check my calendar because I have some stuff coming up, but probably can.
Get your people to call my people, and we'll make it happen. How about that?
Okay. Sounds good.
Raheem,
Yes.
Raheem,
Yes.
I just want to say to public citizen and any other white person that might be listening, I am so not against people. My passion comes from people not understanding who we are and what we have been through and what we are still going through. I lost my nephew. Guess why I lost my nephew last year? Because he was black.
Mm-hmm.
Killed by the police, should not have even been in police custody. Killed by police strictly because he was black. The nurse at the mental hospital he was said, take the big kid. Take him. He's going to be a problem. Take him. My nephew has never been in any trouble. See, unless you have personally experienced racist behavior, like I've been called a nigger bee by a white man. I've been threatened to be killed by white supremacists at my own house, at my own door. Man, it drives me crazy when people, don't understand. And I understand you not understanding, but please understand our passion for getting equality and justice in this country after all the years that we have been here. Please, I have nothing against anybody except when it comes to you not understanding or not trying to understand why we are so passionate. Not all of us, because some of us don't care. We don't care what y'all do. Y'all can do whatever y'all want as long as they're doing their thing. But I'm not like that. I'm for my people as a whole.
Exactly. Captain, what is the benefit of teaching critical race theory in schools to our children?
I'm being honest with you. I know I can't even answer that because I'm so far into what Sister said. It's a shame. I was out here in Buffalo, New York, and I want to say this to Leonard. He may have put himself up by his bootstrap and he's doing real well. But if Leonard was in that supermarket when that guy was going around, he didn't care nothing about Leonard and how his attitude was. He just seen the color. Bang.
I think you mean Charles. God. I think you mean Charles when he said.
Let me say this.
Let me rebuttal this.
Okay, hold tight. And when you talk about Brother Badger, white privilege, you don't know it. There was two women that was in that store that was white. And when he rolled up on me, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And they walked out of the line because they may not knew they had white privilege, but that day they had white privilege. All right? So we can get into see, there was a guy walking around down here in Buffalo, a white guy, he looked like a Nazi. He had a big old flag said, Black Lives Matter. And he walking around in the hood with that big old flag, and one of the brothers stopped him. He said, "Listen, man, don't walk around here with that big old flag, Black Lives Matter. Go in your own white neighborhood and make your own white people know that Black Lives Matter." See, we got to have it. We always want white people want to come among us and be sympathetic or empathetic to us, but go to your own people. Badger can't go among his own people with this attitude. They run him out because they call him a Negro lover. But you feel comfortable with us because we don't have racism in our heart. We don't have hate in our heart. Everybody in here is tired of the color game. Don't lay the wickedness of white supremacy at our doorstep. But when we got to talk, we got to whisper. And I like what this sister said. Yes, we don't want you to be sympathetic, but doggone, be empathetic. And everything ain't about trying to come back with a color thing. I know it's about sometimes say, yeah, You know, my folk, and whether you want to call them your folk or not, but we're so busy trying to justify white people's past actions. And I mean, I'm not with it. I'm not a racist. I like everybody, but listen, you said it right, brother, what Ali said. I used to remember saying, man, listen, man, I'm not a snake handler. I'm really not. I don't know a poisonous snake from a non-poisonous snake. Since I don't know the difference, I don't fool with them at all, and I'm safe. It ain't that I'm anti-snake. I'm anti-bitten. I can't tell a good white person from a bad white person. That white boy that went in that store, he looked like a good white boy. But if we begin to start judging people, and the police don't know a bad black person from a good black, he sees a black person, he treats us all the same. We have to tear down the wall of racism, yes. And you know how we do that? It's because we have to start dealing with people on a humanistic basis. We have to show the world who was victims of such horrible racism that we bigger than y'all. It's gonna take a minute to get there. It took a minute for me to get there, but we got to get there. And we have to be the example of white people, not Badger. Badger ain't one of them. They're just an exception to the rule. So the bottom line is, we have to be able to move beyond our pain. But you know what? It was a guy just told a story on my podcast yesterday. He said a white guy came in with 2 things budget, and he went into the black church and said, "This a black church?" And when the guy looked at him, he said, "This a black church." He said, "Man, you got," and he ran out. Man, this dude came in to kill somebody. This is a reality we face. No, but I just wanted to make it very clear that, you know, hey, we all have known that you got to be able to be mature today, and you fight your own battles. Can't nobody tell me who my friend should be. No, can I tell anyone who your friend should be?
Exactly.
But the bottom line is, be the best human being you can be, and don't treat people the way you don't want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Treat people the way you want to be treated, and you win all the time. I'm sorry.
Good deal. Good deal. Charles, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, that last statement he said was golden. Treat people the way you want to be treated. I look at things, man, and as I don't need anybody to apologize to me about nothing that their people did in the past. It's not going to change my life and forward. You understand? It's not going to change anybody's life going forward. An apology means nothing to me. Okay? Fairness means a lot to me. Being fair. And if you don't want to be fair, and I'll meet you on that level also. You understand? So it's not that I don't need people, but I don't need people to look like I have to look up to them to do things for me. With your decisions that you make don't decide my life. You understand? I don't have anybody out there, white nor black, that makes decisions that decide my life unless we both got guns at each other. You understand what I'm saying? Now, and as for things that have happened, like this dude went into the church, and this dude that went into the grocery store and shot these people, that's what the Second Amendment is for, to stop people like that also. You get what I'm saying? Because there are people out there who don't care what color you are, black people. You see all these people in was this Buffalo getting all this stuff. But in Chicago or other areas or Detroit and things like that, when blacks are killed in abundance, do they get all this stuff? You know, it seems like to me you're only worth something. You're only worth something when you're killed by a white person. You know what I'm saying? You're only worth recognition when you're killed by a white person. That's to me, you only get statues. You understand? You tell me how many statues you get when you killed by a black person. You don't get statues for that. You only get statues when master kills you, if you feel that that's your master. And I feel that you feel that that's your master because you're putting them above you and you're celebrating them on killing you. You understand? When we should stop each other from killing each other, that's the number one. If you're killed, like I've said this before, if you're on my team supposedly and you run the ball a touchdown for the other team, I'm more mad at you than I am at the other team because you're hurting me. So for people who out there saying that whites need to apologize for slavery, no, you don't. No, you don't, because that's not going to change my future at all. You know, let me protect my family. Let me be fair to me. Simple as that. And if you don't be fair to me, we both play the game in the cheat way. You understand? Because the only thing to beat the cross is the double cross. Only thing to beat the double cross is the triple cross. So I don't even believe in all that. White folks got to do this for me, and white folks got to say this to me. You ain't got to do nothing for me. You ain't got to do nothing for me. You ain't got to prove you. You ain't got to prove you like me. It doesn't matter to me, because your feelings don't change nothing about my life. Nothing. As long as everything is fair. But how you feel about me, I don't care. I don't
So
like
is that what you heard us say when we talked about critical race theory? We asking for apologies and for them to acknowledge.
In a way, I do. In a way, because I remember what critical race theory is about.
But let me stop you right there, because that's not the point at all. So you
Hold
on, one at a time.
But even on top of that,
hold on, Charles.
Top of that,
everybody. Pete, hold on.
talking.
Everybody. Hold on. We only could go one at a time.
Hold
on, Charles. You're 3 minutes up. We only had one at a time because nobody's going to hear or make out anything. Your 3 minutes was up before you even started talking, Charles. I just gave you
before he started talking.
Before he started talking, your 3 minutes was up.
Okay.
I just gave you.
But he did ask me a question, though.
Listen,
You're right.
Charles. Charles,
I
will you
said,
listen,
right, brother?
Only thing I was trying to give you the liberty of finishing your thought. That's why I didn't say your 3 minutes was up.
Okay.
But your 3 minutes was up. But go ahead, Pete.
Cool.
Pete?
That's not the point at all. That's not what was being said at all. So your interpretation, your comprehension, my brother, respectfully, is off. We're not.
But that's not only critical race theory.
Hold on, Charles.
I'm talking about.
Charles, will you hold on, bro?
Come on, man. Come on.
I mean, you can cut in with it, and we go back and forth with me, my brother. It ain't bother me. What I'm saying to you, that's not the point. The point is to expose the history, to bring about a comprehension of the reality and the vestiges, the damage, what it does, how it set a mentality, how it set a line and a performance and a conduct and a perception in this society. That's what it's about. It's not about anybody apologizing. It's not about none of that. Just like they teach slavery in the public school, they re-emphasize it all the time. All the time. Why? If it's so negative and it shouldn't be taught, why are they still teaching it? Because they know the effects that it's having on certain people and the effects that it's having on certain other people. They know exactly what they're doing. And that's all it is. It's not about you apologizing. It's about you picking yourself up from here with the awareness. The concept is, when Jane Elliott had an auditorium full of Caucasians and asked anybody in here who wants to be treated the way we treat African American, black folk, color folk in our society, stand up. Nobody stood up. She re-emphasized the question and nobody stood up again. So then she said, that shows that you know what's going on and you don't want it for yourself. So why are you accepting it for somebody else? That's the point. Is to bring about that exact point that she made in that whole auditorium with all of those people. That's the point of the critical race theory, is to bring about that same response, that same goal, to make you conscious of, aware of, and you individually consider what has happened and how it spread out and what was the result. Now, how do we pick it up from here? It's not about you apologizing at all. And it's not about hating white folks. It ain't about shaming them, getting back at them. Get them back. No, none of that. We passed all of that. It's about the awareness so that we can move forward as a society in unity. America represents the whole world theoretically. All ethnicities pretty much on planet Earth are here in America. This should be the beacon of light for the world. We should be the champion of humanity for the globe. That's the concept that we should be about in this society presently today. And it's going to take things like that in order for us to get there.
Good deal. Good deal. You got 50 seconds left. You did good. Rico, coming to you, man. 3 minutes. What's on your heart, brother?
Now, you know, when I started being a union rep at a young age, man, I had to represent a lot of older melanated brothers, man. And I was getting fed up because, you know, over time, I started realizing that if you listen to a man enough, you can tell when he's scared. They're just scared. They don't want to hold them accountable. So they'll go back and turn back around and say, well, apologize. Didn't nobody say nothing about an apology. We all know an apology don't mean nothing. It ain't nothing but a sound that come out of your mouth, words. But what critical race theory does is it gives people an opportunity that looks at the situation that goes on today and sees all this dysfunction. It gives them an opportunity to understand why the dysfunction exists. Why is these group of black people out of order? Why does the ghetto exist? Why aren't there black men in the household? Where did all this dysfunction start? Because if you think about things in a logical way, some of the ways we are existing shouldn't exist. We are out of order. How did we get so far out of order? What created these conditions? And what created the conditions was more dysfunctional behavior, chattel slavery, treating human beings like dogs, breeding them, denying that they were human. And it evolved over time to a point where people that benefited from it and ended up in a better situation didn't understand how they could still contribute to this mindset. Some of these people that don't think they're racism really don't believe it, but at the same time, they benefited so much from racism that the more they indulge in it, they are actually still contributing to it. So critical race theory will break that down to you. Even because you see, so now racism is unconscious. It's subliminal.
Mm-hmm.
It has affected every aspect of our living.
1 minute, Rico.
Not only just on this planet, but in this country, but on this whole planet. It has had an effect. And so it has to be broken down and understood, and people have to be held accountable, and it has to be pinpointed when these negative actions were taken, this savage and terroristic behavior, when it happened, what effect it had psychologically, economically, medically, all these different things, and then how it affected the next generation of people that was born into that normal that existed when they were born.
Mm-hmm.
Critical race theory explains why we are in the situation we are in and why we still continue to have these same problems. Good. Or why we are allowed to open arms, invite people into our church to pray to the God that they introduced us to, and then gun us down right afterwards.
Wow, good deal, good deal. And if somebody else wanted to say something, I think Cassandra, you had something on your heart.
No, I was just agreeing with everyone. It is definitely not about wanting apologies. I don't want anybody to apologize to me. I just want you to treat me like you treat your sister, your mama, your cousin. Treat us the same way. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for special privilege, because I think it's actually Black people that think that we're asking for special privileges. No, we're asking for an even playing field. I'm going to say that over and over again, which is equality and justice under the law and every other aspect of life. Mm-hmm. Treat us like we are human beings. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna come to you, brother. Hold on 1 second. Leonard, what's on your heart?
That person that wants to say something.
Ibrahim, go ahead, brother.
Okay, yeah. This has been going on quite a few years. And if you look at what was said by Marcus Garvey, right, about the law and everything. Now, that's necessary, but it's for the country as a whole and the legal system, right? The critical race theory. Because the school is unable, has never taught Black history, right? That's something that we need to push forward to do ourselves. But critical race theory is a necessity, because we're still going to get these unfavorable decisions and laws placed against us that should be helping us at a community at whole, right? We're taxpaying citizens. We work for a living. We fight these wars. We should get the same equal justice that anybody else gets. You refer to Marcus Garvey, 1921. He speaks on that. And also W. Du Bois talk about the critical, the currency of whiteness. He's the first one that brought out that concept, right? So yes, that's very necessary. It should be taught in schools and understood. But now they let people think, because I think Black history should be taught about the successes of Black people in America, the history of Black people in America, and what we have contributed to America, and get away from this mentality that puts us as an oppressed people, unable to think for ourselves, coming from a culture that never existed in the countries that we came from, which is tribalism and feudalism, and looking like a bunch of savages running around the woods. Even if we did that with purpose and for a reason. So I think that the clear history should be taught, but that is very important that critical race taught, else we're going to still keep filling up the jails. Back even a couple of decades ago, from 1990, we were only 20% of the population in most jails across the country, if that much. Now, since 1990s, we are 80-90% of people in jail and only 12% of the population in America. That stands for itself to be, this that is genocidal and everything else. Hey, I thank you. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Good to have you. Definitely good to have you. Willa, I'm gonna try Willa one more time. Willa, where you at? Are you there? Willa.
I'm here, Raheem. You had called on me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I might have been on another call. I'm so sorry.
No.
But I've been listening since you was talking about the politicians running in your state.
Yes.
In Georgia.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about this critical race theory?
I don't know much about it, Raheem, but I've been listening. And if I could cast a vote for anybody, it would be Cassandra. Because all what she's been through with the different cultures, she still have a heart for the people.
Yes.
And that's kind of where I am. I got a heart for the people. I'm not with one certain kind. If you would, understand where I am with that. Because what makes me angry sometimes is if, you hear people say, well, our culture is, we call each other the N-word all the time. But the minute someone outside your culture use that word, it becomes a death sentence.
It should.
The same way how I look is in the area where I am, and I see young Black people killing up each other every day. But the minute something happens outside our culture, the whole focus is just on that, and we haven't focused on the root cause of us killing each other. I don't get that. I don't. I'm sorry. I apologize to maybe some people in their eyes, but why can't we look at the fact we're killing up each other every day? But the minute one person outside our culture does it, and I do understand that's the biggest issue that they run across the screen instead of trying to manage what we should be managing from the beginning. I just don't get it.
Absolutely. K with an E?
I don't.
K with an E, you back with us? K with an E, you there? K still fighting this. K is still fighting that dog.
I'm here.
Okay.
Look, I'm on Facebook and I'm online. I'm just listening, and I already put what I had to say in the comment, and I say the same thing. I mean, I'm listening, and at the same time, and I understand that they're still mistreating us, but we're mistreating us, and I just have a different of opinion, and that's all it is. And I don't have, no hard feelings. I just know how I feel. I know what I'm dealing with every day, and I know what I see every day, and it's sad. And we just got to be a part of the change.
Absolutely.
And so we're having June the 4th, we're having a march. And we're going to march from 40th to 27th Street in front of the police station to stop the violence, stop the killing. Like, we've been through enough. And we're going to be talking about the history over intercom and everything. And if the history don't stop the killing, what's going to stop it? And so that's what we're doing June the 4th. And I encourage y'all to get something together and do it in y'all's neighborhood and stop the killing.
Absolutely.
Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Can I throw something in right behind that man? Because I see where her and Willa is coming from, even Charles, because I agree. We do have a problem killing each other, That is a terrible condition. That is another form of us being out of order once again. That is a behavior that people really can't understand is going on, but it's still, a phenomenon that continues to happen. And I think that's the reason why critical race theory is also important, because once you start throwing a psychological aspect into things, of the conditions of how people have to function, I think we would probably understand more why we actually retaliate against each other. I think there has been studies before that showed that most times people are going to react to the people that they feel they might have the best opportunity to react to. I think I said earlier, sometimes we ignore what we really need to be fighting against because we are afraid. And I ain't just talking about all of us, but I'm just talking about human beings. Human beings can be very afraid to fight the real power that they should fight against. So they'll go and take it out on the people that they feel like have the best opportunity to win against. So I ain't gonna lie, man. I encounter a lot of melanated people that subconsciously feel inferior to white people, and they hate to admit it. But you can hear it in their comments. And subconsciously, our community is going through that. When you see the kids in Chicago doing that, they ain't got time to pay attention to no white people. They only got time to pay attention to their ops because it's easier. But now tell them to go and shoot Dylan Roof, man, you better not go over there. Them folk gonna kill you. Well, your ops gonna kill you too. But they feel like they have a better opportunity, a 50-50 chance beefing with their own kind because we're in the same position. But these people that's on this ladder, that's out of reach, they got the guns and the bombs in the military and the judicial system, somewhere you feel subconsciously defeated and less than. And so that has to be discussed because we don't really accept the fact that we subconsciously feel less than them. And that's the reason why it's so easy for those guys to go out there and hurt each other instead of hurting the enemy that has historically shown to be more savage towards us than our own.
Wow. Okay, good deal, man. I'm looking at the clock. It's time for us to get out of here. Anybody have anything real quickly? We're not gonna do the 3 minute right now because we already over time. Anybody have anything real quickly they want to say before we get out of here?
I got a buddy from Africa. You know, I got a company in Africa, and he
hold on, one at a time.
No.
So sis, plug in with me. Make sure sis have my number to plug in with me. And Rico, y'all, you wanted to, and I'll get you all that information. But it's a 40-day, start Memorial Day campaign nationally. Stop the violence. And that's going on in every state.
Wow.
And it's connected. So let me know if you want to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
I want to be a part of it. But I think that stopping the violence, right, is a major cause because that shows people that we're concerned about our own. That gives respect and our love for each other, right? Without that, stopping the violence and running around just talking to gang members, don't get it. I've been in several of those kind of confrontations. And yes, I would like your phone number, get involved. You can find me on Facebook, or you can leave your phone number WhatsApp app, and that's that'll be Ibrahim Musa Assad.
Okay, hold on. Okay, go ahead, Charles.
Hey, I want to be a part of it too. And the thing about the way we think, man, I got buddies out of Africa. Like I said, I got a company in Africa, and they never been around like it's blacks, and these black people here, they'll tell you that these people are bad people. Are bad people, no matter what color they are. They for a 10-year period, they were eating each other. They were trapping people and eating people for a 10-year period.
Where was that?
Before the cabbies caught them. I'll send you the link, Ibrahim. I'll send you the link. Ibrahim, I'm gonna send you the link. So
Ibrahim, hold on, brother. Hold on, Ibrahim.
I said I'm gonna send you the link, brother.
Go ahead, Charles. Finish your thought. Gotta get out of here.
So he says to me, man, you haven't seen. This is what a black dude said to me from Africa. Man, y'all ain't seen nothing until y'all go to Africa and watch how those people work. Not everybody now, because they got beautiful places there now. And he says it, but he said the opposite of it has nothing to do with white people. You understand? It's just how the heart of these men are. And that's the same way here in these guys in Chicago. Ain't got nothing to do with white people. It's just the heart of these men and the way they're not being raised.
Wow, that's good. Rico, we got to get out of here, man. What's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir? This was a good one.
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Willow!
Come on, Raheem. Y'all got me in a certain way today.
Come on now.
Man.
Come on.
Let's go.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I am so ready. I promise you I'm ready.
Well, Willow.
My heart is full.
Well, let's go. Let's go, Willow. Let's go.
Amen. Father God in heaven, Lord, we thank you. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up this morning. Get up to have an opportunity to get it right with you, oh Lord. Father, help us, oh Lord. Father, help us to understand what's going on in this world. Father, I believe that you can do it, Lord. Father, I know that you're in the hearts of all your people, Lord. I'm asking you, the Lord, to give us direction, give us guidance, show us your way, Lord. Father, you said that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. And Father, you said it in Philippians 4:13 that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So we're asking you every day, Lord, for strength, for guidance, Lord, for understanding, Lord. Touch this radio show, Lord, and touch each and every last one on this line, Lord. Search their hearts. Help them, oh Lord, to become better disciples for you. In Christ Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Man.
On that note, it's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now, what is it, 10:18. It's now 10:18. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you for the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Take care of each other, and please, please, please be blessed. Have a great day, y'all. Captain Leonard.
Yes, sir.
Anything on your heart before you get out of here?
Well, Romans 9-13.
Mm-hmm.
Those folks that don't know, love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need, and practice hospitality.
Absolutely. Good deal. On that note, we can close out.
Well, when tomorrow, God ain't dead.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. Have a great day, y'all. Take care of each other. Love you. Stay blessed and take care of each other one by one. We can all get it done one by one. Have a great day.
Great.